You're right, Smoke Perp.
You know it's true that I do. Slapping your face, bringing your face.
Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. 'Tis I, the monkey cardinal banana, here once again. Lamau at Vaush getting mocked on H3. Oh, man. I mean, I guess I'll address it. I want to wait for more people to filter in, though, because I don't want it to come up a billion fucking times during the show. Oh, and I've got to set a thing, too. I have to set an alarm to remind myself that to take a break in a little under an hour and feed the kitty and the puppy. So I'm going to set that alarm now, and you guys will hear it, too. Wow, Vaush right on arrival. I know. It is what it is. You know, I mean, people are going to fucking talk about it, especially when he's involved in like a big high profile drama, cancellation, whatever you want to fucking call it. I have not watched the Tucker Putin interview. I really don't care to be honest with you. I guess we'll see. Like if we watch some highlights from it or whatever, I may have something to say, but I'm not super interested. I mean, I don't know. Whatever. Like I said, I will I'll get, you guys probably won't, like get what you want out of me addressing this, and I don't know if we'll talk about it on a show or whatever. We might end up addressing it on a show, but maybe not. I don't know. But like I'm happy to give you guys my thoughts on it. I don't think it's going to be like what people want it to be, but I'm happy to talk about it just so I can, have addressed it, and then people can shut the fuck up about it, in my opinion. It's kind of mid. Putin just avoids questions, brings up good points, calling out American imperialism. Yeah, but I mean, like, just like when we criticize, like when our politicians criticize Russia for its imperialism, that type of shit just falls flat. It's like, the Spider-Man meme. It's, the two oligarchs pointing at each other and they're exactly the same oligarch, like it is what it is. Do what you feel like, though. Don't feel pressured. I mean, whatever. I mean, this is my job is doing this, so I am pressured. Okay, like if I don't do my, like, I don't make money off of this directly, but my presence online feeds my income or whatever. So I have to feel pressured. You ain't watching the FUBA game? No, I don't care about I don't care about sports ball anymore. I will watch the Super Bowl if the Raiders go, just because I feel like I've earned, with my lifetime of fandom, one Raiders Super Bowl that I can remember. The last time they won, I think it was in 1982, if I'm not mistaken. I'm too little to remember being 2 years old. So honestly loved your take on the commercials. Yeah, I mean, it sucks that we can't do those, but YouTube is like on a non grata with that shit now. It's so stupid because you would think like these companies, they're commercials. They want them to be seen by the maximum amount of people. You think they would like support people spreading them around or re-uploading them as much as they wanted, but that's not the case. The last 3 times I think we did this, we had to struggle with copyright claims and bullshit, and we all just decided as a group like fun content, but until we find a better way to do it, there's just, so we liked it too. I mean, I like fucking on the Super Bowl commercials and whatnot. But yeah, this is a Raiders household too. My brother and stepdad are huge fans of theirs, and I kind of just got slowly dragged in, especially living in Vegas for 15 years. Well, I mean, the Raiders have only been in Vegas a couple of years, bro. That's a relatively new thing, right? They've only been in Vegas for like 4 years or something. But yeah, I get what you're saying though. I've never lived in the same town as the Raiders, but they've been a California team my whole life. A lot of people in Cali were butthurt when they moved to Vegas, and they probably lost a lot of fucking longtime fans, but I don't care. I wasn't rooting for the state, I was rooting for the team. But my dad's a Lions fan. We made it to the NFC Championship season the first time since the NFL merger. Huge for us. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like making it. Yeah, if the Raiders make it deep into the playoffs or something, I might start watching. But other than that, I really don't care. And like this year, I super don't care. I fucking can't stand the Chiefs and their stupid fans, and I absolutely cannot stand the 49ers. I like the Super Bowl to me can be fun to watch if number one, you've got like a Super Bowl party going on. I don't have a Super Bowl party that I could have access to, and I'm not throwing one myself. So number two, if even if you don't, your team isn't in there, if there's a team that you can like root for, like I like a Super Bowl where I hate one team and I'm ambivalent about another, because I can actually like go, all right, for the day, this is my team. I'm gonna root against my fucking hated enemy or whatever. But when it's one of these Super Bowls where there's only a few teams that are like that too, so this is just a really bad Super Bowl for me. Kansas City is just such a pussy team, and I even say more about the fucking 49ers, dude. Yeah. I hate the Pats. I hate the Chiefs. I hate the 49ers, and I kind of hate the Cheeseheads, and that's about it. Like every other team, like even if they've got like a real long rivalry, like the Chargers have got a long rivalry with the Raiders, and I don't mind the Chargers. The Steelers have a long rivalry with the Raiders. I don't mind the Steelers, Whatever. It is what it is. I don't care to talk anymore about Fuba. Hello. Didn't the Chiefs lose 1/7? One I don't know. I think they did. I think the Raiders beat the Chiefs. I don't really follow, to be honest with you, so I couldn't tell you. It might have been last year that I'm thinking about. I hate when people talk to me about sports. I don't mind it. Like I'm a sports dude. Like I can sit and watch sport. I understand the game of football. I know the teams. I know the history. I can enjoy it. It's like a communal experience. Some beers, some pizza, or some wings or whatever the fuck, some burgers. Hang out with family, friends, get a little tipsy, yell at the TV, you know, watch the stupid commercials and make fun of them. Like it's fun. It can be fun, but it's just I'm not doing it this year, and I didn't really do it last year either. So also, hey Mall, what's I don't know. What is up? So I don't know. You guys even care to hear me address the Vaush drama or whatever the fuck? Or should I just not? I'm fine either way, honestly. I think it's a big fucking waste of time, but we can discuss it if that's what you guys, you know. Go for it. I'm curious. Forget Vaush. What do you think about Hitler, my dude? I'm literally here for the Vaush take. Oh boy. Okay. So for those of you that don't know, and I'm not gonna like go and show screenshots and shit. Vaush pulled a TJ, and by pulled a TJ, I mean accidentally exposed a porn folder while he was streaming live. He took the stream down, but of course, the intrepid investigators of the internet clipped it, and they were able to kind of like zoom in on it and find out the source of some of the pictures and stuff in there. And there was surprise, there was horse porn. I don't know why anybody would be shocked about that. I like the reason that I memed about it when he came on the show last time is because like it's the most well-known thing in the world, like especially within his community and adjacent communities. Like, so he had horse porn. He also had porn that people are describing as lolly, which, you know, underage Japanese anime girls doing, and I think there was combos. I may be wrong about that. I haven't looked at the whole breakdown of it or whatever, but I think there might have been even a combo. Yeah, I think there might even have been like lolly on horse. And so, of course, this is blown up. Like H3, I guess, covered it. It's gone like mainstream. And unfortunately for Vaush, he's a debate bro, right? And this is one of the reasons why I don't like debate me bro type of people, is because I don't really know how to put this. When when everything is up for debate, eventually you're gonna end up debating shit that is just really not debatable. I don't know. I think everything is debatable, but you know what I mean? Like you're gonna end up making defenses of child porn in favor of comparing it to like, I don't know, diamond mining or whatever the fuck. You know what I mean? You're gonna like that's one of the problems what I have with this debate bro shit is like, you know, you're eventually just going to delve into the world of utter fucking ridiculousness. Right. And unfortunately for Vaush, he's done that a bunch of times because he's a debate lord, right? He's a greasy, pimply debate lord. And of course, he's multiple times, you know, conflated child pornography with the cobalt that's used in phones and all of this stuff, right? And you know, I don't know, like to me that's just like there are a million other analogs that you could use to be ultimately charitable when, you know, people bring this up, people in his community. I think Vaush himself has responded and to these things, like him talking about this stuff. And he said like, you know, oh, you know, the whole point was to draw attention to the hypocrisy of living in a society that is, you know, hyper punitive towards child porn, but doesn't mind, you know, people using, like everybody using a cell phone that was mined by child slaves in the Sudan or whatever, you know. And like, while I get the point, I I don't think that there's any utility in like comparing it to child pornography. I get the point. It's unethical, and so is child slavery and cacao fields and shit, but it's just not it's not a comparison that I would ever make. It's definitely just like a poorly chosen I'm brain farting on the name of this and analogy. So anyway, what are my thoughts on all of this? Number one, and just off top, I think that if you are a streamer, right? Let me give you guys a little fucking preview. Not a preview, but just like, let's just say that somebody hacked my computer that I use for streaming here, or my phone, or whatever. I don't save porn. I haven't saved porn since I was in like my mid-20s. Like, I haven't had a porn folder on a computer since I was in like my mid-20s. And certainly never as a streamer have I been a dude that like, I'm going to go live in front of a bunch of people and share my screen and shit. And I'm going to have a big old porn. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. Like, it honestly doesn't even make sense to me if you're not a streamer. Like, I don't understand, but whatever, you know, I'm not judging. I'm just saying, like, it seems like very anachronistic to even have a porn folder anymore. Like, back in the day, I had one because it was hard to find porn sometimes, you know? Like, and if you found one that you liked, you kind of had to save it because you don't know if you're going to be it's going to be, you know, you're not going to be able to track it down again or whatever. I get it. But I just don't feel like that's the fucking case anymore. And I don't understand it. Like, I just don't understand, especially like as a streamer, right? I'm not saying don't have a porn folder or whatever. You do you, but like not on the machine. Like, and Vaush has no excuse. Vaush is super rich. You know, he's lounging around in $800 fucking designer jackets, bespoke jackets and shit, you know? Like, the dude can afford to get a laptop or something to do his gooning on, is what I'm saying. Like, that's all I'm saying, right? So stupid as fuck. Like, stupid as all fucking get out, right? And shouldn't have happened, and it's only his fault for being stupid and careless. As far as the like content of that shit, I haven't looked at any kind of like breakdown of what was in there. I know that, like, you know, the internet plus autism has probably sourced every fucking picture in the league. You can go look into that shit if you want. I will say this. I think that Vaush, being a kind of like limousine liberal dude who, in my opinion, as I've said before, pipelines young, impressionable people into mainstream liberalism, I feel like that is infinitely more damaging than Vaush looking at AI generated lolly horse porn. I just do. I do not like if Vaush ends up like losing a bunch of fucking clout for this, and this ends up like harming his career. I don't like that it was something about his sexual peccadillos that did it, because I think there's too much hysteria in the world right now about people's sexual proclivities. And look, I'm not defending him looking at anything. I don't feel like I should have to. I'm not the one that looked at it, right? But what I'm saying is that I wish that it wasn't this. You know what I mean? I wish it was because, you know, he's not a good advocate for change. I wish it was because he has a disagreeable affinity for the power structure while calling him somebody while calling himself somebody who is opposed to the power structure. You know, I wish it was for that. So, that's my thoughts on it, honestly. Like, I don't like, for me, I've always been of the mind, like, if you think something illegal's going on, call the cops. Otherwise, it's like internet lynch mob kind of shit. It just smacks of like Puritanism and the morality police and shit. Just everybody's got to have a fucking take on this, and everybody's got to prove how disgusting they find this porn by, really excoriating Vaush for what he goons to or whatever. I don't have that kind of like sentiment in me. I've talked about this for years about how people's sexuality is interesting to talk about philosophically and biologically and psychologically, but in terms of like tittering about who's fucking who or who jerks off to what, I've just never, I don't know. I've never been that guy. That stuff is not interesting to me. People's ideas are interesting to me, and I understand that, like, the existence of this porn in that folder might convey some ideas that Vaush may have in secret or whatever the fuck that you find objectionable. But to me, that's 3 layers deep now. I don't know who Mama Max is, but I think I've heard, like, I haven't seen the drama, but I think I saw like videos about it, and I think I heard Destiny go over it a little bit, just like a pedo hunter kind of channel that ended up having a bunch of like abuse stuff and a bunch of suspect behavior and shitty, I don't know. Like, I just think like sometimes people doth protest too much. I feel like the people that are really out there with their, swinging this around and just like endlessly discussing how disgusting it is, are maybe some people that, if you looked in their fucking porn folder, you might find some objectionable shit too. I don't know. But like for me, it's just standard operating procedure. I don't fucking keep porn. I don't even, like, to be honest with you guys, I'm not even really on that into porn. Like, I never really have been. Like, I guess, like, definitely when I was a teenager more than now, of course, when your fucking hormones are going crazy or whatever. But like, it's not my thing. It's not something I ever have to worry about when I do a stream, like, oh, let me make sure this folder's buried and not linked to anything, like this is, I just don't keep it, like, and I really think that when it comes to your streaming machine, no streamer should be using their streaming machine simultaneously as a jerk off machine. It's just asking yourself to, I mean, there's tons of these dudes. You see it on the right wing a lot. These dudes out there calling like trans people groomers and shit, and then they get busted with a bunch of fucking CP or soliciting a child or sending nudes to a child or whatever the fuck. I mean, all we'd have to do is look into it, and we'd find 20 of these fucking stories, like prominent right wing voices or even sometimes politicians getting caught with their hand in the fucking cookie jar, and they're some of the loudest opponents of this shit. I don't know. First Milo, now Vaush. I feel kind of the same way, like Milo, like when he got canceled, we were some of the few voices that were like, Milo shouldn't be silenced over this shit. Milo, like, and I explained it back then. Milo is a victim of abuse, right? I'm not making excuses for the things he said. I'm just saying, like, I try and have a broad understanding of people in psychology, at least to the point that I can. Humans are messy and fucked up creatures, and that's just the way it is. And Milo had some real fucking shitty ideas. Some real shitty conservative fucking tripe came out of his mouth. And I wish it was that shit that got him shouted down and not some fucking edgy comment he made, And I feel the same way about Vaush. I think Vaush is, not a great advocate for leftism. I think he leads people down a primrose path that is not great. I've said it, I've confronted him about this multiple times. I'm on the record saying it. I wish it was that was causing all of this drama and not him accidentally showing off some jerk off material, But whatever. Milo is hot though. Vaush isn't. I don't know. I mean, you don't think Vaush, especially since he like cleaned up and got his like glow up, you don't think Vaush is kind of a good looking dude? Like he ain't my type and definitely not my thing, but I don't think he's an ugly guy. I think he's an all right looking guy. He's kind of handsome in his own way. Milo is way hotter. I mean, have you seen Milo recently, bro? Have you seen them big old chiclet caps he's got his mouth filled with and shit? Milo is looking fucking pretty rough, dude. I don't know. I've never thought I don't know. If I would say that by my standard, Vaush is a better looking dude than Milo, but whatever. Yeah, I mean, I would say Scotty's better looking than both of them. I might be biased though, because I like Scotty. He's a friend, that can add some hot points to a person sometimes. I don't remember anything like that on DP. I know TJ very recently had an incident like that where, he flashed his downloads or some shit. And I didn't even see it happen. I guess it happened on a show. He had to take the thing down and edit it out and all that. But yeah, I don't remember anything else. You think Vaush has buttery soft feet? Gross. You're a foot person. You should be shamed. You should be shamed for your kink. Well, if you never get into another shouting match with him, you can say he's a horse fucker. True. I mean, I still have the drop, and I feel like this drop is gonna stick around for a while. I feel like it needs a space on the board. I need to have a horse ready to go because who knows? I'm all for making fun of it and shit. I do think it's fucking hilarious, honestly. Like out of the context of somebody getting canceled and all the drama and all the bullshit. Like I think the whole thing is pretty fucking funny, and I intend to laugh at it. If we cover it, publicly on the show or whatever. But yeah, that's my take. It probably not what people wanted, but. It is fucking hilarious. It is hilarious, dude. Did you know about Tacoma Wept? What is Tacoma Wept? The whole thing reminds me of the Onion articles, which told about Obama being caught lip syncing. Huh? Oh, okay. Well, I don't know. I'm not up to date on every Vaush meme. People say that Vaush is rent free in my head, but he does pay rent, but it's Section 8 rent control, so it's very minimal rent. He gets a real cheap rent in my head, but he's not totally rent free. Do you think cancel culture has gone too far, Paul? Yeah, I do. I think there are numerous examples of people that were canceled for shit that was just like I don't know, especially like like Louis C.K.'s cancellation was bullshit, and I think that's why he's back. Who was it? Is it Zack Snyder that got canceled, or am I thinking of somebody else? For just saying some edgy bullshit, you know what I mean? Like there's definitely like and that's why, you know, my position is as it is when it comes to the Vaush drama or whatever you know what I'm talking about. That's the reason why I have that position is I think that there is like an unhealthy fixation on people's personal private lives and shit, and people get really fucking overexcited when they get a glimpse at something that's you know, a skeleton in somebody's closet or whatever. And I think it's a way a lot of times for people communally to like make themselves feel better about their own little secrets. I just think it's sad that we have to live as beings that are you know, so soaked in shame and shit, you know. But it is what it is, you know. It's definitely like you can argue against the efficacy of it all you want, but it's reality, you know. There's consequences to the shit you say, go figure. Yeah, for sure. I just think that like if anybody like you, Q Ream, right? Let's say that instead of a YouTube commenter with no PFP, right? With a name that's clearly like lifted from some manga or some shit that you're into, right? And if you weren't that, if you were actually like a content creator and I held you to everything you've ever said, your edgy teen shit, your edgy 20 shit, like if I fucking looked at you as you are now and was like, you, not only do I know everything you've ever said, but I think that you are currently responsible for that, no matter what your position is currently. I think you'd find it to be pretty fucking lame, you know? I just think it's a lame way to try and pwn somebody. Like if somebody's got a shitty opinion and then they change that opinion, isn't that what you want, you know? I don't know. Oh, okay, babe. All right, I'll kill my alarm. I have my alarm set for 3:45. I'm sorry that wouldn't settle down. All turds. All right. So got the boys fed. Paul, I have the Fraiche ad from Wendy's. Oh yeah. So Fraiche. I like the Fraiche ads. There was a bunch, but we were like we looked and looked. We were only able to find one. I think the one we found was like he was selling a new salad or something. He's like, Fraiche salad, Fraiche tomatoes. I'm like, woof, dude. Ugh. Oh man, I just got like a wave of fucking nausea. I hate this. I hate feeling this way. Ugh, being nauseous is one of the worst feelings in the fucking world, dude. Ugh, I hate that. Ugh. Ugh. I know I do it to myself too. I hate eating early in the day. Like I'm not hungry, and food actually like will actually make me feel queasy if I try and eat it before I want it, you know? And so I don't. But I take medications and vitamin supplements and shit in the morning, and I do it on an empty stomach, and I know it fucking gives me I know it gets me fucking nauseous every time. Hurl on stream. No, I don't think I'm gonna hurl. Like, But I don't know. Maybe we'll see. Probably not. I don't feel like it's going to come to the hurl place, but that era the AI villains we're talking about in Metal Gear Solid 2 is upon us. The information age is reaching its peak. Oh shit. Just take them with a crack. Dude, I don't even want to eat a cracker though. We've got these little like the Belvita, like little breakfast biscuits or whatever. And I could just grab one of those, but I just don't want to. I do have yogurt and granola. I've been eating a lot of that. I am now I think officially a week off of meat. I've eaten vegetable based meals now for a week, or close to a week, and I feel like I'm doing pretty good with it. I'm not I don't know, craving meat constantly. I'm really not having a whole lot of problem with it. So I feel like it's going pretty good. I mean, it's not it's I'm not, like I said, when I kind of talked about doing it, I think on a I don't know what it was. It was on the show or Sloppy Seconds or something. But I'm not really doing it like as a moral prescription. I'm not interested in getting involved in the whole vegetarian vegan fucking argument. And I wouldn't even really be called a vegetarian. Amelia told me that there's a term like flexitarian, I guess, which means that you don't necessarily eschew all meat, but you don't eat much meat, you know? Like, and I feel like that's kind of where I'm at. Like, I might every once in a fucking blue moon have a nice big old burger or something. Um, but yeah, I feel I feel pretty grossed out eating meat a lot of the time, and honestly, like the high fat content of that type of stuff, I think gives me digestive issues. Like I get acid reflux really bad when I eat real fatty stuff. So, um, yeah. Well, I'm eating plenty of protein and shit. I'm making like I'm not just eating like broccoli or whatever. Like I'm eating soy stuff. I'm eating lots of beans, stuff that's got a lot of protein, like mushrooms, protein and fiber. Beans, a musical fruit. Yeah, I eat kale. I eat quite a bit of kale. Not a ton, but there's several recipes that Amelia will make that have that has kale in it. That I really like kale a lot, especially when it's cooked like a green. I'm not a big fan of like raw kale, but when you wilt it down, it will season it or throw it in with the meal and wilt it into the meal. I think it's really good. Yeah, I mean, I was kind of in the same boat, Henry. I was just really like it was poultry that grossed me out the most. Chicken, especially chicken breasts, chicken thighs. I can't handle them. Like I can't handle them. Like I get sick to my stomach, like trying to cut them up or cook them. And then when I eat them, sometimes it's fine and sometimes it's horrible. Sometimes I'll get like a piece of cartilage or whatever, and it just puts me off the whole chicken breast. Like that one bite, you know, makes it to where I can't put another bite in my mouth, and it sucks. And so, springboarding off of that, plus, I do have ethical and moral concerns with factory farming and the like modern meat farming and practices and shit. I think a lot of it is cruel and unusual. And so and the amount of meat that the American consumer ingests is demonstrably damaging the environment because these factory farms are such greenhouse gas producers. So, whatever. I see it as good for all of that. Wendy's 1989 howdy dude ad. Dave Thomas says fresh a bunch. Cool. If you're cutting out meat, I recommend potatoes. They're fucking. Do you think I don't eat potatoes? Dude, I'm Irish as fuck. I have a raw potato on the side of everything I eat, dude. I can't get enough potato. I'm just kidding. I don't eat raw potato, but you really look at me and think like, you know what, Paul? What you ought to try is this crazy vegetable called the potato. Oh, I think I've heard of those. Isn't that like an Irish vegetable? Yeah, the potato. Pippi Longstocking coming into your town. The one who's fun to be around. The one who never lets you down. Pippi Longstocking. Do you consider hunting meat since how I personally there's a couple problems with that. Number one, I love animals. I don't really think I could be a person who routinely killed animals. I guess if I was doing it, I don't know, like if I was farming them myself, but even then I think I'd have a problem with it. Number one. Number two, I'm not a big firearms guy. I don't like really being around guns or having them out and about. It's not my favorite thing. So I'm definitely a little avoidant of being around a bunch of firearms if I can help it. It's not my bag. You identify as Irish American? No, I'm just American. But my family history is traceable to Ireland on both sides. So I'm definitely of Irish descent. But I don't like have an Irish pride or kiss me I'm Irish, bumper sticker on my car or whatever the fuck. I don't. I just think I think it's interesting to know kind of like where your family came from in terms of roots, but I don't think it really says anything about you. I am not a big fan of any boxers or fighters or whatever. I don't even really like watching that type of shit. I think it's kind of brutal. It's hard for I don't like blood and shit, so like real blood. I can watch all the fake blood you want, but I don't like watching two dudes just like beat themselves to a pulp. Like it's just fucked. Just too brutal for me. Where are all the coolest people Irish? I'm Polish. Like, can any of you name a cool, famous Polish person? Uh, no. I mean, there's definitely like a cultural tradition amongst Irish people of storytelling and performance. they have a very rich oral tradition. And so people that are from Irish roots oftentimes display that. It's part of like what Jung talked about when he talked about, genetic memory or a heritable subconscious experience. Liberace is pretty fucking cool. Like Liberace was flamboyantly, openly, unapologetically gay at a time when that was just unheard of, and he fucking owned it. Yeah, dude. No, Liberace is cool. Liberace counts, bro. You ain't gonna poo-poo Liberace in front of me, all right? Liberace is a badass and a true fucking pioneer. All right. Why, hello, Paul. Thank you for what you do, my dude. I mean, every group of people has gone through some rough shit together. Let's be honest. The Irish are not like standout when it comes to that. If you look at the history, especially if you look at, like some of the earlier history of any fucking racial group or, country of origin or whatever the fuck, you're going to find strife and degradation and horrible, horrible shit, unfortunately. Epigenetics. Well, didn't Liberace portray himself as a ladies' man? How do you know he wasn't? How do you know he wasn't slamming at all? That's what I'm saying. Like, people are just too quick to judge, You telling me Liberace couldn't have torn up some pussy if he didn't want to? Like, come on. Liberace, like, I mean, he's a fucking household name and a musician. Paul, I hope this is not too off topic, but I'm hoping to get into union leadership. Any tips on running a good union? Love your videos. I've never run a union. You would want to talk to my dad about that. I learned by watching my dad, but I was very young, and I don't know that I assimilated all the lessons from it. I know my dad was a good union leader. I know that he is, when it comes to business stuff, he's an inherently fair person. And I think he's willing to listen to people's point of view, even if he doesn't share them. I think those are important qualities. You can't be, super fucking reactionary and be a good union leader. So I would say, get ready to listen and get ready to have people be mad at you because you are the representative of the overall structure that's supposed to address their grievance. So when they come to you with a grievance, some of them are going to be real mad about it or sad or hurt about it. And they're going to project that at you because they look at you as the natural source to go to with that shit. And you're going to have to learn to separate, your feelings about being treated that way sometimes. I don't know if you have to work for 20 years, but yes, I agree. Obviously you can't really be an effective union leader as that's what I want my job to be. You've got to get a job, you got to get a trade, and you've got to either help to establish and unionize your workplace or join a workplace that's already unionized. And then you have to work for a while, you have to work long enough that people know you're not bullshitting, and you've got to maintain a good rapport with your fellow workers. You got to be active in the union. You can't just like step into union leadership. You need to have a little bit of fucking skin in the game is what they call it. Big unions are ran like corporations. True. There's a lot of bureaucratic structure to the larger unions, and it can be a little fucking disheartening for sure. Is being a forklift driver a respectable skill? I mean, any kind of like trade skill is a respectable skill. I don't disrespect anybody. But yeah, forklift drivers can make a lot of bread. Really good ones with really good safety records and work history are really sought after by a lot of different places. Probably never have a hard time finding work if it's something that like a skill that you establish and get really good at. You should really focus on being a really smooth, efficient, quick but careful guy if you're going to be a forklift guy. And that's just going to come with experience. So yeah, of course, everything is respectable. In terms of like livelihood. I mean, I guess like being a stick-up artist maybe isn't all that respectable, but like that's whatever. You get my drift. Legal livelihoods are all respectable. How about that? How's that for a take? I don't think it's impossible, Mr. Garrick, but it's definitely not as easy as it was 20, 30 years ago. The idea of working for 20 years for a company is a tougher prospect than it used to be. You think there's any common ground that could be found in the workers' union movement and the indigenous liberation movement? I'm not. I guess I would have to familiarize myself more with the indigenous liberation movement. I'm not exactly sure what their stated goals are. To be honest with you, you can infer a little bit from the title of the organization. They're about indigenous liberation, but what does that mean to them? I'd have to look into it more to give you a take on that. And I'm just not familiar enough with that movement. But I think the answer, honestly, sight unseen, is probably yes. Movements for civil and basic human rights tend to blend well together. My union rejected a 10% pay raise. Am I wrong to be frustrated? No. That's part of being in a union. Like a union doesn't mean everybody gets what they want. That's a misnomer. A union is a beautiful collaboration and it really needs to be treated as such. The people that really are hardcore unionists are people that realize like just because you're loud and boisterous doesn't mean you always get what you want out of a contract. You are collectively bargaining. You're collectively bargaining. That means you're getting together with your coworkers and you're all deciding together. All of your opinions are taken into account. And there are going to be people that disagree with you. And there's the leadership structure is sometimes going to disagree with the membership. And, it's all very much, I don't know. Burgling. Yes. Bargling. Blugling. They said it didn't match inflation, which is true. It was a close vote, but I would have liked that boost. Sure. But you can probably if you're honest, see the wisdom in holding out as well, because 10% doesn't keep up with inflation probably. And your business, your work deserves to be compensated at least enough to keep up with the inflation of things so that you can pay your bills. And, maybe holding out for more is the right thing at this point. You drive a hard bargle. Shut up. Leave me alone. All right. You guys never fucking brain farted a word. You never just like opened your mouth and some fucking horrible eldritch chant came out of it and you're like, where the fuck did that come from? I mean, one big union is one of the things that I ultimately advocate for. I think that having an overarching superstructure, and this is something that a lot, especially the big unions, are going to be very resistant to. So it's definitely, a long-term goal of unionization, but I'm a big believer in one big union. I'm a big believer in there being an international workers of the world, you know what I mean, that everybody adopts, and oversees all union efforts and can really act as, more than anything, a superstructure that can organize union activity. So you can, organize getting workers from other adjacent industries to support the strike line, etc. You've never opened your mouth to say a fucking word that and then your brain has a little hiccup and something like blargle comes out instead of bargain. That's never happened to you. Come on, dude. Blargle sounds like part of a fucking Cthulhu prayer. Blargle Maguna Fingly Nagud. You know what I mean? How would you say the best way to get racist workers in our union? Is there a way to talk to them to get them in a union with an African American? The idea behind, my ideas on this are that when, there are different layers of concern in people's lives, right? And ultimately people are self-serving and self-protective, and that's good. I'm not criticizing people for that. And when it comes to a union, the beauty that I think that happens in the labor movement and other kind of structures like this is that those people that might hate your guts because you're a black guy are going to be exposed to you through the union. And they're going to hear you making impassioned pleas that they agree with. They're going to see you busting your ass and working hard just like they do. And it's going to challenge directly in their minds. They're going to have, this cognitive dissonance that's constantly hanging over them. Trust me. It may not end in them respecting you or whatever. I'm not saying that it's a magic potion. I'm just saying when you argue with people about racism and stuff, there's a lot of shouting past one another that goes on. These people are inculcated in hatred and bigotry and rage. And I'm a big believer in contact theory, or contact hypothesis, as it's called. This idea that one of the best ways to challenge these kind of long-held, often congenital, bigoted beliefs is to integrate. Have those people in a position where they really can't escape a black person, and then they get to know the black person, and they see that the black person isn't, whatever they think black people are, whatever they've been told. They're not a pants sagging Antifa thug. They don't have face tats and gold teeth, and you know what I mean? Some of them do, let's be real, but this stereotyping gets challenged, right? And that, I think, is how it happens in the union. Yeah, well, yeah, because fucking you over in the union fucks them over. So it's almost like they're forced to collectively work with you. And during those meetings and during those times at work where they're obviously going to talk with you and discuss things with you and laugh with you, every time you have an interaction like that isn't supercharged by the racial debate, it's going to challenge their preconceived notions and bigotry. Every time you see them, at the factory, and as you pass by, you say, "Hey man, hat's looking good," or whatever it is you say to them, right? And they have a chuckle, and it's a friendly little, "I love that hat, man," or whatever it is. Or you guys tell a joke together in the break room or whatever. Every time an interaction happens like that isn't specifically racially charged, there's an inroad made. And whether or not you can make enough inroads with certain people, I think, is up in the air. I'm not saying this is guaranteed to deprogram a racist, but I think it's one of the only demonstrable ways to do it. And it will work. It will work with a lot of people. Would you support the state funding unions rather than funding it through union dues? No. And here's why. The union structure needs to be as independent as possible from the governmental structure. Moving to a government support, it needs to be supported by the people and for the people. allowing the government to dole out money, it makes way too much room for discrimination and bad labor practices to be manifest when your money is tied. The money your union needs to operate is tied to the whims of whatever the majority is. Yeah, that's not good. They need to be self-supported. I'm a big supporter of union dues. Government is the second most likely to try it, maybe the first most likely. I mean, the government has no love for unions, despite what one side may say, despite some tokenistic verbal support from the Democrats. The real power structure has no love for unions. Would you agree that what we call non-binary is really just natural human expression? Yes. But I don't think that calling it non-binary precludes it from also being natural human expression. Like, having a name for it is okay. And I think non-binary is as okay a name as any, I think if you understand what it means, it's kind of easy. I don't really identify as a man or a woman. Or sometimes I feel more femme and sometimes I feel more masc, or whatever it is that leads a person to self-identify that way. I think it's pretty easy to understand, right? And yes, I think it's a natural part of human expression. I think it existed as long as there have been humans. And I think our hangups about it are pretty fucking Neanderthal and honestly boring. Like, that's one of the things about the whole kind of LGBT thing that I don't really express this frustration a whole lot, but I'm really bored. And I'm really bored of one of the main lines through politics of politics being this thing that I think is just so simple and so fucking throwaway and so easy. And just like grinding away, arguing with right-wing people that trans people are worthy of fucking their identities and they're worthy of baseline respect in society, and they deserve, like anybody else, to pursue their own happiness and make their own decisions and shit. Like that to me just seems like fucking such a foregone conclusion, and making the argument over and over and over and over and over again is so mind-numbing to me anymore. What's your opinion on teachers unions? I hear you spoke about teachers unions in a negative manner. Do you still find them negative? Or I support teachers unions. The policy of teachers unions that I personally call into question is the policy of protecting bad teachers. And to be honest and to be fair, this may not apply to all teachers unions. But my direct experience working in the education system and public education was that the teachers unions on the local and national level did everything possible to keep a teacher from being fired, even if that teacher was not meeting the basic minimum standards of education and not really trying and keeping a really shitty classroom and not controlling their kids. They would keep this person from being fired, and they would just move them from school to school or district to district. Kind of like, unironically, like the Catholics do with predator priests. It's like, instead of addressing the problem and getting rid of the fucking problem, which is this teacher that has just burnt out and doesn't give a fuck anymore, and maybe never did give a fuck, just lazy and unwilling to learn any kind of new thing and unwilling to change up the bad, like, that person should be gone. That person should not be, teaching a class of kids. And so I think that teachers unions, at least the ones that I've had experience with, could be way more dedicated to, because that's part of running a shop. You know what I mean? Like, if you took it out of the teachers union and put it in my parents' union, working at a factory that has a big furnace in it, makes glass bottles, right? Packages those things, ships them out to wineries or whatever. if there's somebody that just sucks at their job and they're lazy and they're stupid and they're endangering everybody and they're just not getting it done, like the union doesn't fucking pick up the slack for you. That makes everybody look bad when you act that way. And you're going to be dealt with internally by the union and given an ultimatum like, look, we're not going to fucking keep standing up for you if you're going to keep falling asleep on the job. Like, this is it. There needs to be like self-policing that goes on. And I've just seen firsthand that these teachers unions will go to bat for any teacher, no matter how shitty. And I realize why, that teachers feel very hard done by, because they are. I mean, their wages have remained pretty fucking flat versus inflation. They're expected to pay for a lot of things in their classroom, like in a lot of poorer districts, like pencils, pens, paper, copy paper and stuff has to be purchased by individual teachers for their classroom. Otherwise, there's just not a budget for them. And that's absurd. Teachers are expected to work obscene hours outside of their normal workday just to prep their shit properly. They're sat in front of fucking huge classes, way too huge to properly manage and to give a proper education. Like, I get it. Teachers are hard done by, but when there's a bad egg, they need to deal with it. And that's my fucking argument. That's my negative take on teachers unions. I support the structure. I wouldn't tear down the structure over it. But I do think that they get a lot of bad publicity for doing that, because I wasn't the only one that noted it happening. Parents know when a teacher gets moved and why and blah blah blah. This word gets out. Communities are pretty small. Paul, you would be a good teacher. I don't know, maybe. I mean, I was a good trainer. That was a big part of my job. And I think that there's a good chance I probably could have done the job. I just don't really have the passion for it. When you say because trans lives are under threat, I mean, that's always true. And yes, I didn't say I don't. Obviously, we talk about it all the time. I was just expressing my fucking boredom with having to make the same argument over and over again and feeling like you're just smashing your face against a brick wall. Of course, you got to take up for trans people. Of course, always. Not just now. It's not like some particular. It's always been this way. In fact, it's a lot of times in the past, it's been even worse. So, yeah. You train at Starbucks? I did, yes. Trained at Starbucks and ended up moving into a training position at my district job as well towards the end, the last few years. But yeah, I was a trainer at Starbucks as well. I'm good at it, whatever. I'm good at conveying an idea to people and engaging people on their terms and listening and doing all the things you need to do. I think I probably could have done it okay, but I just never had the fire for it, Paul hates the children. No. I mean, I honestly, like, that's one of the things about my old job that I liked. I never worked directly with the kids, but I was around, like they would see me walk into class and they would call me computer dude. It was a nickname that spread from one site to all my sites. And they're cool little kids. They want to give you a high five or whatever. They want to give you nucks when you walk by. What up, computer dude? They think it's cool. Because I wasn't a teacher, so I was a cool adult, and that was fun. The kids were fun. I think it's a really important job teaching, or just supporting a school in general. And I tried to do my best when I was there. I really did. I try to keep in mind that, like, I was going through a bunch of bullshit and there was all this bureaucracy and all this negativity. But ultimately, if I got these fucking computers hooked up, the kids were going to use them and hopefully like them. And maybe it'll brighten their day a little bit. And maybe if I'm lucky, it'll help their education a little bit. It's your dream job apart from YouTube. I mean, my dream job has pretty much been the same since high school. When I was a little kid, I wanted to be like a marine biologist before I really understood what that meant. I just wanted to scuba dive in the ocean for a living, and look at cool creatures. But once I got into high school and got into theater, that's what I wanted to do with my life. I never felt like I was more at home and more. Nothing ever felt as right to me as being on stage, or even really being involved. Because I did technical theater as well, so I did lighting, I did costuming, I did. I loved just being involved in that world. Would have been my, my dream job, I guess. Stage stuff, not really. I never really had like, being in a movie would be cool, but I don't know. That's just not, I don't lust after that career really. I would love to have a career where I was just kind of like a company player, and, I got paid to be on stage. I wouldn't need to be rich, but just enough to, enough to make a living. And that would be cool. Yes, I think Macs are a waste of money for schools. Yes, I do. They're super expensive. I mean, schools, like, honestly, they get sweetheart deals. They get like, special like education only deals from Apple. Apple sell, and because they buy in bulk, basically. Apple gives a discount over retail, but they're still wildly more expensive than, the equivalent Chrome book or whatever. No, man. The grease pantsing incident, bro. It was fucking embarrassing, but it was hilarious too. I learned way before high school that sometimes just being able to like laugh at yourself with other people is disarming. It really is. You know. It was embarrassing as fuck to get pantsed in front of a huge audience or whatever, but ultimately, like, it didn't end my life or whatever. It became kind of a meme, and I thought it was pretty fucking hilarious, honestly. So it's definitely a fun story to tell now, if anything. I would have to work it a little bit, Crooksbane. It's been years. I had it like I actually did perform it. And it's probably up on one of the Paul's Ego archive channels that people have made of my old videos. So I did it. And at that time, it was tight. Like, I was using it actively in auditions at that time. And so I had it worked. If I did it now, it probably wouldn't be as good. I'd need to fucking work it back up. What's the story? I was in Greece. I played a character called Roger, who's not really he's in the movie, but he's not a main character, but he's a supporting character in the show, in the stage show. He's the fat kid, and he gets kind of poked fun of for being fat. And there's a scene where Kaniki, the cool guy in the group, or one of the cool guys, pantses Roger. They call him Rump. His nickname is Rump, right? Pants the fat kid, and he's supposed to have funny boxers on. And so I had these smiley face boxers on underneath my pants. And the gag was supposed to be he pulls my pants down, and we had it rigged. Like, we had it uh safety pinned to my shirt, like the boxers, so that he would only pull the pants down. Well, it was one night, and the dude that was doing it got really into it, and he came and he hooked his fingers in my pants to pull them down, and he got his fingers up under my boxers too. And bada bing, bada bang, sold out fucking Saturday night show. And my cock and balls came. I want to say flopping out, but that would be overstating the truth a little bit. Came poking out, I guess. Like, came peekabooing out. And, like, definitely people in the back row probably didn't even know something happened. People in the middle and back rows probably didn't even get but like people in the front rows, they saw some shit. They saw, look. They got a quick eyeful. Now, I was wearing a shirt that kind of fell down over it and shit, but they seen. and I ran off stage. Did the pins stab you? No, thankfully. They just popped open. Like they're safety pins. So they did what they were supposed to do. You know, but it wasn't a world destroying thing. Now, if I had been like, if I had gone back there and just cried about it, and people had seen that, like, oh my god, he's really like fucked up about this, then it probably would have haunted me for the rest of my existence. But because I fucking thought it was hilarious, I just laughed with people about it. Like it disarmed the whole situation. I mean, it wasn't like I did it on purpose. Don't sell yourself short, Paul. Yeah, no, you get it. I get it. I get what you did there. I see what you did. If you had to move to any country outside the US, I don't know, dude. Ultimately, dude, maybe I'll move to some other country. So I don't know. I don't know the future, but I'm an American, bro. I'm an American. I don't know that I would be able to do it. And a lot of people don't think this about me, but I'm an intensely, intensely American person. As much as I spend, like, I criticize America because I love it. And that's the truth. I have a sense of patriotism. Like, I guess it's just a holdover from how I was raised. And I have high expectations and high hopes for America. And I think it could be a wonderful place. I really think it could be. I think that there are a lot of really noble things about the American creed. And so, I'm defensive of it. And I don't like the idea of running from it if shit gets hard. And I've considered it and I've talked about doing it in the past, but ultimately I think that's just frustration. I don't know if I would operate all that well, you know, outside of America. Whatever happened to Uruguay? I don't know if you have looked at that area of the world, but there's some craziness going on, bro. Just take a look at recent news and Argentina. Like go to a news aggregator and type in Argentina. And then go to a map and look at Argentina and what's right next door to it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Uruguay, it seems very awesome. It seems cosmopolitan. I definitely don't, I'm not saying I never would do it, but like Brazil, so fucking unstable. Um, the long-standing beloved leftist president of Uruguay has been replaced with a right-wing Trump guy. So like a really traditional bastion of liberal values is now being conservatized. You've got, and that's happening just because of the cultural radiation coming out of Brazil. Brazil is like a hugely fucking conservative country, and it's right on the it would, like, Uruguay is sandwiched between Brazil and Argentina. Like, let's get real here for a minute. But yeah, I am attracted to the digital nomad kind of lifestyle thing that I've talked about. I think that it fits my lifestyle pretty well, and I think it fits my sensibilities and my wife's sensibilities pretty well. We both kind of share those types of sensibilities. I think that's a good thing. We both traveled a lot. We both lived in a lot of places. We're both kind of used to moving around, and that's good. I don't know. That's different to me, though. How can Brazil be so conservative with all that booty? It's because of that booty, man. That booty is too flamboyant. That booty is too flamboyant, dude. They're shaking it too hard, and that fucking country cannot handle it. And they think they have to control the booty. And that's where this conservative shit come from. We've got to fucking get a handle on all this ass. And really, they would be so liberated if they just let the booties free. Just let them come out, let them bibble, let them bobble, let them wiggle, let them waggle, let them jiggle, let them clap. For fuck's sake, let the asses free. I mean, God, in his infinite, miserable cruelty, decided in a fucking weird moment of grace to give your people giant, beautiful, round, brown asses that just, they blow doors on every ass on the planet. And for fuck's sake, man, just let them free. Have you heard of the Passport Bros, Paul? I have not. Is that a show or something? Or a channel? Do you like Glenn Greenwald and his work in Brazil? I don't. I'm not familiar with it. Sexpats. Oh. You're joking. What am I joking about? What did I say? Let the booty free, man. Let it out. It just wants to be free. It wants to shake. It wants to clap. It wants to fart. It wants to bibble. It wants to bobble. It wants to wiggle and waggle. It wants to shake. It wants to twerk. God damn it. It wants to twerk. Let it out. God, man, ass could solve the world's problems. People don't get this. They're basically incels who couldn't get any at home and are looking for traditional women abroad. Oh, that's not new. Like the mail order bride sex tourism thing is as old as the hills. Like men that can't get pussy here in America or have impossibly high standards and look like toads have been flying to fucking third world countries forever, scalping brides. And there's plenty of women who are desperate to get out of those places and come to America. So it ends up being a fucking convenient thing for both. What's your tip for getting a girlfriend or laid? I mean, I don't even really have a tips about it, bro. Look, dude, I've had girlfriends, but I don't think I'm anything like an expert that could be telling you like what you should do. I feel like I fucking tripped and fell into a lot of the pussy I got. I'll be honest with you. Like, I don't know, maybe I was short selling myself a little bit, but I honestly feel like I face planted in like 90% of the pussy I've gotten in my life. I just like, whoa, slipped on a banana peel and landed in some pussy. No, I mean, yeah, whatever. There's all the trite bullshit, but I don't want to feed you that. Just be you, bro. And like, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't feel like I'm really all that fucking can give you all that great advice on that. My past with dating is so fucked up and checkered, and like just bad, angry breakups and just incompatible people. I don't know. I would feel real dumb giving you advice when my history is as fucked up as it is. I've got a track record of pretty monumental relationship-y failure. What's the difference between goths and punks? The word oi. Oi, 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 oi. Right? Only punks are going to say that. So if the guy says oi, then you're dealing with a punk. And if they say like, pleased to meet you, I'm Azrael Abyss, you're dealing with a goth. Paul Slick Rick got decapitated? What? I'm gonna fucking ban you if you're lying. Did he Slick Rick did not get fucking decapitated. I'm going to ban, like, anybody in chat with banned things. If this envy person doesn't produce in the next 5 minutes, ban their fucking ass. You better produce then. Slick Rick did not get fucking decapitated, my man. That didn't happen. I'm not playing, bro. All right, that should be fucking, that should be news, right? As soon as I type Slick Rick, the first thing that comes up on news should be beloved rapper beheaded in bizarre incident, right? And if it isn't, I'm banning you. DJ Slick Rick. This is not, no. This is another dude, bro. This is DJ Slick Rick. Slick Rick is Richard Walters is his name. He's a black man. This is a white dude DJ that called himself Slick Rick that got decapitated. This is not okay. All right, buddy. It's not the Slick Rick that I don't. Wrong Slick Rick. Yes. DJ Slick Rick is like, whatever. It sucks he got decapitated, but he's not, he's a nobody. It's cool. And that's why I'm not banning you, because I think it's plausible you didn't know the difference. But I'm talking about Slick Rick, MC Ricky D, the beloved and renowned rapper who, yeah. Timeout? Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I don't know. I feel my troll senses are tingling, but whatever. At least I was able to find a headline that says Slick Rick decapitated. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Trying to claim things I haven't earned, honest man. Slick Rick and Outcast is on this jam. Got 2 diamonds on the 2 grand. Trying to help raise all you to me. Ruler Rick. His face the same. Aim. Help clean up this land. The reputation of this man. Withhold and withstand. Yeah, it sucks that the other Slick Rick got fucking, yeah, no lying. I get it. All right. I'm giving him a pass, but only this one time. All right. Only this once, because I'm very suspect about this. Slick Rick was beheaded, bro. What the fuck? What the fuck, dude? What is wrong with you? No, I will not play Alien Isolation 2. I learned my lesson with Alien Isolation 1. I could not play that game. Too scary. Too spooky. I get too scared. I get too invested in that shit, bro. It's not a chill time. Sitting with your ass puckered, and like barely like holding your breath around every corner. Nah, that isn't, have fun with it though. I can't play those fucking spook out games, man, where shit be jumping out at you and coming out of the ceilings. Like, I can play a little bit of it, but about as scary as I'll get is like the original Resident Evil. All right. That one had some fucking jump scares in it, but it was just like, oh, okay. Like some of these games now, I can't even deal. Too spooky. Dude, a game like that is not going to get less scary with time. Like, that game is terrifying. You're hiding in a fucking cabinet. I mean, fuck that. No. I ain't doing it. You could do it. Paul is a chicken. I am, dude. I'm a big old fucking chicken. Buck, 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 buck. I will admit it. It's a great game. I mean, the design on it was fucking insane. I mean, I loved like like the game looked and played beautifully, but it's too intense for me. Finish up my isolation VR run. I'm playing Subnautica now. I'm far from brave, but I find that being angry kills the fear response in me. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think a lot of people did that. Like, react that way. Get mad and yell, "Oh, fuck you, man! I'll kill you." I just scream like a bitch and turn off the game. The heights in what was the game you were talking about? Dying Light. I haven't played Dying Light, but it looks kind of fun. I don't know. I don't really get that kind of like Vertigo heights stuff unless it's real heights. I really haven't seen like a virtual thing that made me feel that way yet. No, never played Slender. I really, you can stop asking about these jump scare games. I haven't played any of them, dude. If I know that a game is a jump scare game, I'm not playing it. I don't want jump scares. And if they are used, I want them to be used very fucking conservatively, because if it's just jump scare the game, I can't even relax and play the game. To me, like, even more so now that I'm older, video games are relaxing. I play them when I don't want to sit around and think about how fucked up the world is, and I just want to turn my brain off and have fun. I throw on a video game. That doesn't mean that like they can't be hard. Like, I kind of suck at the video games I'm playing right now, honestly. I'm playing Risk of Rain Returns, and I suck at it. Like, I'm terrible at it, but I love the game, so I keep trying. I'm playing like a fighting game that I'm not great at. So it's not about like being a badass for me. It's about chilling. I don't know. Yeah, I love horror movies for sure. To me, a game and a movie, they share similarities like narratively, but they are very different experiences. Like, they are definitely their own thing, and I don't like the same things in one that I like in the other. You know, I'm playing Red Dead Redemption 2. Yeah, Naughty Priest. Amelia just started playing Red Dead Redemption 2 as well. I'm super happy. Like, she's starting to like branch out and tries. She also tried out the fighting game that I'm playing. She's actually good at it. Like, that's the thing about Amelia is like I think she thinks she's bad sometimes at video games, but she's actually pulled off some shit that I can't do. Like, she started way back in the day. I was playing that what's that game called? The one about Hades. I was gonna say Hades' son, and I was like, oh wait, it's Hades. That game, right? And I was playing that game, and I think she's watched me play it a little bit, and she ended up getting it. And I remember walking in to talk to her about something, and so watching her playing it, and I was like, oh my god, like, she was way better than me. She was tearing shit up. She actually like beat the game, basically, like unlocked all the stuff. She's fucking good. And so she's recently started to branch out into like some of the other like third person RPG / action type games. And I think she's really gonna like Red Dead Redemption a lot. I mean, I don't see how she couldn't. It's just such a great story and a fun game. Yeah, no, Hades is a hard game. I know. I played it. I didn't, like I said, I didn't max everything out in it, but I got past the end game in it. You know what I mean? I got into the end game of that, and it's a tough fucking game. And she's super good at it. What's your go-to class for Risk of Rain? I mean, the one that I'm best at is Engineer, but I think it's also the most noob class. Like, I think Engineer is probably the easiest class in Risk of Rain. So I try and branch out. That's one of the things I like about it, is trying, like, playing all the characters. There's not one that I don't like the ones where you have to jam on the attack a lot. Like, I like the ones where you can kind of just hold down attack and it has a cyclical auto attack or whatever. So I kind of don't play loader a whole lot. I don't play out as an outlaw or whatever it is. I don't bandit, I think it's called. Yeah, bandit. Yeah, I love the Risk of Rain series. I played the first one and liked it, and then I played Risk of Rain 2 and I liked it, and now I'm playing the reissue of the first one, Risk of Rain Returns, and I like it, but I fucking suck at all of them. I'm horrible at those games, dude. I just can't, like, but whatever. Like, that's one of the things I like about getting a little older, I think, is like I've gotten to a point in my life where I don't get as frustrated as I used to. I used to hate losing at video games. And now I kind of embrace it. I'm just like, whatever, I had fun. I'll try something else next time. Do you recommend Baldur's Gate 3? Yes, I would. I mean, it's just such a fucking polished game. Like, I don't know. I guess I wouldn't recommend it to somebody who's maybe never played an isometric type RPG, because they can be a little overwhelming. There's a pretty steep learning curve just getting in the door to that type of RPG. But I also think that Baldur's Gate 3 is probably the easiest and best way to get somebody into that. I think it does a better job of, just throwing somebody into like Icewind Dale or something. I think he'd be way more lost. But it's a great game. It's just really well done, really well crafted, full of just little Easter eggs and fun interactions, totally voice acted, which is crazy. Just good. Oh yeah, it's super hard. What's there to be mad about when you can save and reload? Well, you can't really save and reload in Risk of Rain. You have a run, and when you die, it's over, and you're supposed to get through it without dying. It's the point of the game. And the problem is, I have this really particular problem. I keep dying before I beat the end boss. I have beat it a couple of times, but I just find it really hard. And I refuse to lower the difficulty down to easy. Like, I'm like, fuck that. No. I'm not a baby. I'm a man. Okay? I can do this. It's a lot kinder than any isometric RPG is. It's better at getting you accustomed to its systems than any of, but that's still, with that being said, it's the systems are really complex. It's a roguelike. Yeah. It is a roguelike. Of course I played New Vegas. What do you take me for? What do you take me for? A fucking rube? I'm sitting here telling you I'm a fucking gamer, and you ask me that question. Hey, Paul, ever played Super Mario Brothers? Like, no, what's that? Come on, buddy. Of course I played New Vegas. I'm just kidding with you. I'm just fucking with you, Ian. I'm not trying to make you feel bad. It was just a joke. These was jokes. I was fooling y'all. What ending did you pick in New Vegas? I've played through it multiple times, dude. Well, like, once again, do you think I am some sort of fucking tourist? No. Listen to me. I'm a gamer, okay? I am a power glove wearing 1980s gel spiking up my hair gamer, okay? Dun 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 dun. That's my fucking favorite song. Okay. Yeah, dude, I'm a gaming wizard, dude. I was gaming before some of your parents were even out of diapers. Think about that. Not even you, your parents. were shitting in their diapers when I was gaming as a kid. What was my first console? Well, my first video gaming thing was a Commodore 64 128 with a memory cartridge in it. Like old 5 1/4 floppy discs. The actual floppy ones. Okay? I played Cave of the Word Wizard. I played Aztec Challenge. I played Beyond the Forbidden Forest. I played Mail Order Monsters, which, by the way, Pokemon totally fucking ripped off. My dad had a Commodore, and he got games for it. I played dude, I played every all kind. No, I never had an Atari. I had a friend that had an Intellivision and an Atari 5600. And so that was cool. Got to play those. I had another friend who had a Vectrex. People don't even know about the Vectrex. Don't even get me started on the fucking Vectrex, honestly. You kids don't even fucking know. You don't even know. You're like babes in the woods compared. Dude, I am the ultimate gamer. I'm kid vid, dude. I am. I'm kid vid. Had a friend that had a Vectrex. My first like plug into the TV console was an NES. Got it in like 1986. So pretty close to when it came out. Had Super Mario Brothers that came with it and Duck Hunt. All right. And I had the light blaster for the Duck Hunt. Played all the fucking NES classics. Played the OG Zelda. I've been there. Dude, I'm ground floor. Played Zelda 1. Played Zelda 2. Yes. Yes. Rise from you grave. That's all you need to know about Power Up. Okay, that's all you need to know about Altered Beast, Crooksbane. Rise from you grave. Duck Hunt, dude. Yep, Duck Hunt, bro. Played it all, man. I had another friend that had an NES that had a Rob the Robot. You guys ever even know that shit existed? With that fucking Gyromite game? A fucking legit Rob the Robot, dude. I played with him. I played Gyromite against Rob the Robot and won. Played all the goddamn fucking Sonics. Played them all. I played them all, dude. Also grew up in the fucking golden age of the arcade, so I played every arcade cabinet from that era that you want to fucking talk to me about. Like, dude, people don't understand. You don't understand that I'm a turbo fucking gamer? That I'm literally plugged into the Matrix directly and I play with my brain and not even a fucking controller anymore? You have a favorite boss fight? I do. And it is a fucking pretty common favorite boss fight, but it blew my mind when I was a fucking kid. I wonder if you could guess it. Because it's a really well-known boss fight. I mean, I do like all the Eggmans. You said you can beat the turbo tunnel. I did. I legit beat the turbo tunnel in Battletoads. Took me a long time. Took me and a friend like a fucking couple of days of sitting and grinding it. But all it was memorization, honestly. Like, that's why the turbo tunnel is hard, is because you have to memorize it in sections to really get through it. So you're supposed to die on it a bunch of times or get just super fucking lucky. Is it a console game, boss? Yes, it was on a console. We got to the point like where around that time, now if I picked it back up, I'd have to relearn it again. But around that time, we could beat it pretty consistently because we just got tired of like we wanted to play more of the game. Like we got tired of replaying the first level of fucking Battletoads. We wanted to move on, you know, and so we were just determined. Like that's how you did it back in the day. Which console? I mean, that's narrowing it down, but I'll tell you the PS1. Console, PS1. Yeah, dude, cyborg justice. Yeah. Beat the fuck out of your opponent and steal their arm and put it on your fucking mech. Frost, come in. This is Snake. You've guessed the right game, but can you guess the right boss? Yep. Psycho Mantis, dude. That Psycho Mantis boss fight was so cool, and I figured it out without any fucking bullshit by accident. I happen to have two controllers just plugged into my shit. And I got frustrated with the boss fight and chucked my controller, and it knocked into the other controller, and the character on screen moved. It hit a button or something. I was like, what? And I picked up the second controller, and I was like, holy shit. This is how you beat it. You literally have to plug in your controller to port 2 because he's mind controlling you. That shit is fucking crazy. Psycho Mantis. Yeah, dude. You don't know, you don't like Psycho Mantis? I mean, that shit is dope. It's like an alternate reality game that fucking shit was playing with you, you know? Before that concept even really existed. It's cool. It's just a cool, memorable. I'll never forget that boss fight. Beating that boss was one of the coolest fucking things I ever feel like I did. Psycho Mantis. I did play some Castlevania. I never was very good at it. And it's, I'll be honest with you, like Castlevanias and Metroidvanias, I know people love them. They're not my favorite kind of game. I don't know. I don't love them as much as some other people do. I liked the original Metroid. But as far as like the more modern ones, look, I know they're great games. They're just not for me. They're not my favorite thing. Of course. Okay, so I just told you my history. Do you really think you need to ask me Deus Ex, Paul? Deus, yes. Deus, my fucking middle name is JC Denton, okay? I have a UNATCO hat that I'm wearing right now, okay? No, I'm kidding. But yes, no, love Deus Ex. I've played it multiple times, played it every way you can. That's a fucking amazing, yeah, honestly, amazing game franchise. The new ones are good. I never heard you mention it. It just never came up. I actually mentioned it in a really old Ask the Ego one time. People asked me what my favorite video game music was, and I mentioned a few. The UNATCO theme from Deus Ex came up. JC Denton on the case. Adam Jensen versus V. Who wins in a fight? We're talking about what? Who's V? V from Vendetta? The victorious, vituperatus vicissitude of vulvacious vivisecting. Oh, V from the main character of Cyberpunk. I don't know. I mean, they seem pretty kitted out, right? Like a fully cybered out V feels like a pretty even match for Adam Jensen. Iron and copper. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That was the passphrase to get you into the fucking embattled Statue of Liberty. Iron and copper. Adam wins. I think Adam is, I don't know. V is pretty fucking cool. And V's got that cyberware shit too. So like not cyberware, but like the what are they called? You know what I'm talking about? Like this the hacks. It's got all that crazy shit. It can like set you on fire from far away. I never saw Adam do nothing like that. Like Adam's got all the ninja shit, and he's got the blades, and he's got the fucking agility and all that, and the missiles and stuff. But V, like, I don't know, V can like hack into his fucking brain and upload viruses and shit. That's crazy. Uh, no, I mean Tiberian Sun is better than Red Alert. Red Alert got way more fucking like press for some reason and got way more popular. But I totally agree with you. Tiberium Sun was a way better. Deus Ex probably one of the best games ever made. The newer ones are awesome, but not on the same level. Agree. Agree. I remember when Deus Ex 2 came out, man. What a fucking letdown that was. I was so jazzed. I went and got it and then played it for like 10 hours. And I was like, you know what? This game kind of sucks, though. It's like, it's not, it doesn't feel like, it doesn't feel like, I don't know. That game just doesn't feel very Deus Ex to me. I mean, if it's a giant fucking game that's come out since 1985, I've played it. There are very few that you could name that I've never played. I'll never even bother. I mean, there were some fun parts to it. I'm not gonna lie. Like I did have some fun with Invisible War. I beat it. So take that for what it's worth. But I didn't like the game. I would never play it again. And that's like a hallmark of Deus Ex for me. I remember the first time I beat Deus Ex, I didn't even wait. I just immediately started a new game. And I was like, okay, I want to do this sneaky now. You know, or I want to try this build, or I want to try, like that's just a sign of a fucking amazing game to me. Do you have a favorite indie game? Indie. It's hard to tell what that even means anymore, honestly. I think that gets ascribed to low budget games. Um, but as far as indie games go, I mean, I don't know. I guess there's a couple that are kind of like standout fun, but I've never really gotten wrapped up, I don't think, in an indie game. I'll speak heresy. Metal Gear Solid 5 wasn't that bad. It wasn't the best, but it wasn't that bad. I don't think any of the Metal Gear games are that bad. Like I don't like all of them, but I think they're all good games in their own way. Like I was playing, I don't know which one it is, but the Phantom Liberty shit. Have you guys played that? Dude, I was playing that for a long time before I kind of got bored and moved on, and I might go back to it. I was having a good time. I thought that was like a cool game. Not Phantom Liberty. What was it called? It's the fucking one where he's you have like the base, then you've got to like staff it with soldiers and you pick which missions or whatever you're playing. Phantom whatever, Cyberpunk expansion. Was it Phantom Pain? Yeah, maybe it was. I can't remember which one it was. Peace Walker? I know. Maybe it was Peace Walker. I don't know. I was playing it though. Like, I played it for quite a bit. I thought it was a lot of fun. I love the tactical preparation for the mission thing, and I just love the dropping in and out of helicopter. It's just cool. It's just a cool game. Peace Walker had a similar gameplay loop. Yeah. I've played Xenogears. I never played all the way through it. I really did get bogged down with the amount of reading in Xenogears. It really is like almost a visual novel for huge chunks of the game, hours of the game. You know, it's absurd. It's a little bit much for me. I liked Xenosaga way better. I played Xenosaga Zur Wildermacht. Did you ever play that game? That game was pretty badass. I never replayed it, but I beat that fucking game. It was good. I dug that game. Okay, real heresy. Mass Effect Andromeda wasn't great, but it also wasn't that bad. It actually had a good great. Yeah, yeah. Okay, no, you're not being heretical with me. I agree. I love the original Mass Effect, especially the first two. The third one is, I don't know. I liked it, but I didn't like it as much as the first two. And I played Andromeda after hearing about all the drama, and it doesn't feel a whole lot like a Mass Effect game, but it's still a fun game. Like it's still a fun game, you know. Like it doesn't like yeah. I mean, it's definitely takes place in the Mass Effect universe or whatever, but it just has a different gameplay loop than the other Mass Effect games, and I think people shout on it for that. And I didn't mind it. I thought it was fun. I love Mass Effect, of course. Who wouldn't? Like oh my god, you guys don't get it. I'm a granddaddy of gamers, okay? I'm literally the first generation of people that grew up playing video games, and I still do, and never stopped. Like it doesn't get more gamer than me. Okay, my gamer credentials are fucking. Have you guys ever seen that movie Hoffa? There's a great scene really early on in that movie Hoffa with Jack Nicholson and Danny DeVito, right? And Danny DeVito plays Jimmy Hoffa's little bodyguard. And there's a scene where he goes into a diner and there's a dude on the payphone and he needs to use the phone because he's setting up a meeting for Jimmy Hoffa. And so he goes over to the dude and he knocks on the payphone thing and he's like, "Hey, get out. You got to go." The guy's like, "Hey, fuck off, man. Eat shit. I got every right to be on this phone." And then the bartender guy goes, "Get off the phone." And the dude gets all pissed and hangs up the phone and gets off. And Danny DeVito goes to walk by him and he's like, "Hey, man, who the fuck are you anyway?" And he pulls out his union card with a personal note from Jimmy Hoffa on the back of it. And he goes, "That's who the fuck I am." All right. That's me when it comes to gamers. All right. I'm the gamer. All right. I'm the guy. I'm the guru on the mountain. All right. I played it all. I know it all. All right. I was there at the beginning. I saw the early fucking shit. Played it all. I'm not a big Need for Speed fan. I've tried to like them, honestly. I really have. There was a really good street racing kind of open world game that I played, and nobody ever fucking talks about it on Xbox. What was it? LA? It was LA something. Somebody will remember this game in the chat. What was that? LA Knights or LA? It was LA something. I played the fuck out of that game. I loved that game. It was on Xbox. Midnight Club LA. Yeah. That's what it was. Dude, that fucking game was so good. Dude, Midnight Club, bro. Oh, why did that franchise die and this Need for Speed shit live? Dude, Midnight Club was so much fucking fun. Not LA Noir, you dorks. 8 of you. Yeah, it was Midnight Club LA. Burnout was great. I love Burnout Paradise. That was such a good game. It still is, honestly. It's still fun to boot that up and play it, even though the online shit is dead, you know. But I never really cared. Just playing through the campaign and that is fun. Yeah, dude. Burnout. Great franchise. Kind of sad to see it disappear. Pole position. Ooh, going deep. I owned pole position on floppy disk for the fucking Commodore 64, dude. Dude, 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 dude. I was a pole position king, bro. You couldn't beat me in pole position. I was the fucking king. I had a joystick and everything, bro. I was not playing around, all right? Yeah, Top Gear, dude. That's an old one right there. People aren't even gonna fucking remember that shit. Drag racing, dude. Top Gear. That shit was actually really fun. I played the fuck out of that game as a kid. Oh, dude, you missed out on Twisted Metal. Twisted Metal, especially like hot seat multiplayer, like where you're in person. Oh my god, bro. That was the most salt. That was one of the saltiest games I ever played. It was so much fun to sit with like the bros and play that game split screen. It was one of the saltiest fucking games out there. It's so much fun. Was the last Zelda game you played? I tried to play Twilight Princess and I quit. It was just too dour for me. I don't know. You know, whatever. I'm not like I will never shit on a Zelda game because I know people love the franchise and it really is a great franchise. It's standout. But for my money, I'm kind of played out with the Zelda shit. The last one I played through to completion was Wind Waker, and it's also my favorite Zelda game. But you have to keep in mind, I only got to play the first 2 Zeldas, and then I never got a Super Nintendo. So I played A Link to the Past, but I never really got all that into it. And I played Ocarina of Time, but I never had an N64, so I never got as into it as a lot of other people probably did. You know, I had a Genesis and then moved to after the Genesis went straight to a PlayStation. So, you know, I missed out on a lot of like the Nintendo classics. I still have a pretty fucking good history with Super Nintendo games because all my friends had Super Nintendos. So, you know, I got to play, you know, Final Fantasy 3 and you know, the staple shit, F-Zero and all that crazy shit that was on the Super Nintendo. I got to play all that. I don't know, man. Levi, I've watched some people play Breath of the Wild. My ex was real into Breath of the Wild and had it, and I would sit, you know, and watch her play it. And it was a fun game to like watch somebody play, but I never got the itch to boot it up myself. There's just something about it that makes me not want to play it, and I can't put my finger on it. You know, not shitting on Zelda, to each his own. I just think maybe I've outgrown the franchise maybe a little bit. Does that make sense? Like I just feel like I don't know. I don't want to play another open world game. I feel a little played out on open world stuff, and I definitely don't want to play like a Zelda one that's super like I don't know. There's just something about it. Newer one is far better than Breath of the Wild. Yeah, I mean I'm sure they're good. I just don't really have the interest. I feel like I maybe have like maybe I just don't need to play anymore. Like Zelda as a concept and as a presentation, maybe I'm a little old for it. Like if I look at the games that I'm playing right now, you know, there's some whimsy to the fighting game. But you know, a lot of it is more like darker, more, I don't know, I don't want to say adult, but like more mature themes or whatever the fuck. I'm not playing a whole lot of uh Paku Paku the giant marshmallow or whatever. Like I'm playing whatever. I'm playing, cool shooting games and racing games and shit. Like I'm playing a game called Ballistic NG right now. That's basically like an indie remake of the old Wipeout games. I love them. So I'm playing that right now. Paul, I have not played Elden Ring. I probably will at some point, honestly. There are parts of it, I just don't know. It's another one of those games that, like, watching other people play it makes me I'm not real interested. I don't know. I've never been a super big fan of the Souls series. I think that they're really frustrating games, obviously, and like, I don't know. Maybe I'll get a million get goods for this, but I just don't. I don't know. I don't have fun playing them. I really like Demon Souls, which is kind of funny, because a lot of people consider it to be a harder game, especially the original release, than Dark Souls is. But I beat Demon Souls and I really enjoyed my time with it. But there's some about the Dark Souls games, and I guess Elden Ring lumped in with that, and Bloodborne and all. I don't know. Just don't like them. It's just not my thing. Yeah, dude, get Ballistic NG, dude. It's on Steam and it's pretty cheap. Yeah, it's a really faithful recreation of the Wipeout games. And there's nothing wrong with that, Paul. For some, get good is the fun part, but fuck anyone. Yeah, I mean, like, I don't shit on people who like them either. Like, they're not my favorite games. It's just not my favorite way to spend time playing. I don't like the setting very much. It's a little gray and drab and downer for me. I prefer a little bit of color. Like, I love playing Cyberpunk just aesthetically. Just because, like, wandering around that city, especially at night with all the neon and fucking reflections coming off the puddles and shit. I mean, it's just beautiful, like aesthetically really pleasing, like a really aesthetically pleasing dystopia. And I feel like Dark Souls is the other end of that. It's like everything has gone to dust, traveler. It's like, okay. There once was a beautiful golden gate here, but it's been stripped long ago by the bandits. And you're like, man, I wish I could see that. But yeah, no, I mean, I've seen, yeah, I get it. Whatever. I'm not trying to argue against you. Don't get all defensive with me, okay? Ghost Runner is a great game. I definitely want to pick up Ghost Runner 2, especially now that I know that it's like Steam Deck certified. I want to sit down and play that on my Steam Deck, dude. I want to Steam Deck me some Ghost Runner 2, bitch. But I'm just playing so many games right now. I don't want to buy anymore. I gotta finish what I'm playing. Why does every one of those Souls-like games need to be grimdark? I don't have a problem with grimdark, even. I like the Warhammer 40K setting. That's about it's where the term grimdark came from. So it's not that they're grimdark, it's just that they're depressive. Like, there's always, like, let me tell you something that I hate about the Souls games, all right? Because I played them. I'm not telling you I haven't played them. I just don't like them, right? You'll go into a Souls game, right? And you load in and you get past the little tutorial area or whatever. You get to the first bonfire, and there's always a dude sitting there, right? And when you talk to him, it's like it's me sitting there, but at the bottom of a real depressive episode. He's just like, oh, another one. More grist for the mill. And you're just like, what's wrong with you? And he's just like, nothing matters to me anymore. I've forgotten what it even feels like to be fully human. And you're just like, oh, like everything's just so sour and dour, and you're just like, crumbling. Like, this place used to be beautiful and full with light, but I haven't heard a bird sing in ages. You know, you're just like, ugh, get me out of here. This is like the inside of my brain already, you know? Give me some color, god damn it. And it's like in every game. Even Demon Souls had this fucking dude in it. I don't know if it's the same character, but like in every game, there's a dude who's just at the end of his rope and considering fucking, you know, self-deleting. If only I could self-delete, you know? But it wouldn't matter here. I'd just come back. You know, and you're just like, what the fuck? I prefer the God of War trilogy. I don't even think they're all that comparable, bro. I guess they're third person action games, but that's about where it ends. One of them is like a super arcade experience, and the other is like a super frustrating precision melee game. Souls games are super tropey, but there's endless dudes hanged in bags, a soft spoken girl that levels you up, cynical douchebags, and plot. Yeah. That is true. The chick, there's always a chick that you have to go to level up, and she's always babbling fucking new age nonsense at you. That's another thing. I think that like the lore in the Dark Souls series is intentionally obfuscated, but I don't like that, man. I want to know what's going on. You know, open your soul, traveler, and allow me to touch the demon inside of you. It's like, huh? No. Gather your strength, traveler, and return to me with more souls so that the world might be mended. It's like, oh, not this again. You know, I don't know. So it's too dour for me. It's too downbeat. Stop hating. I know. Now I am really starting to cross over into hater territory, and I don't want to do that because I think they're well-made games, but I have not beaten Baldur's Gate 3. Does Dark Souls have boobas like God of War? There is some booba in Dark Souls, isn't there? I don't know if it's the same level of quality as in God of War, but I do think there's booba in Dark Souls. Maybe I'm wrong though. Guinevere, yeah. There's a big giant. There's like a big muscle mommy booba, like big giant fetish mommy booba in it. There's a little booba. Yeah, I don't. You know, I thought there was some booba. Yeah, no, they look great. They just don't. You know, I don't know. Whatever. I'm not gonna shit on it anymore. You get my drift. It's just not my fucking scene. Hey, Mr. Tallyman, tally me banana. Daylight come and me one go home. That's 6 foot, 7 foot, 8 foot punch. Daylight come and me one go home. A green and rubbery ripe banana. Daylight come and me one go home. A mighty deadly black tarantula. Daylight come and me one go home. I actually just picked up Armored Core and started it, and I'm really enjoying it so far. I don't like I remember reading people saying that it was hard, but I don't find the game super hard. Like I don't know. I'm not trying to brag. I'm not all the way through it either. I'm probably like I don't know, maybe a quarter of the way or like close to halfway through the game, and I don't find it particularly hard, but it is fun. Love the movement and stuff. You know, it's just fun to glide around and jump around and fly around and shoot. Just controls really well. The last horror game you enjoyed? I honestly don't know. I'd have to think about it. Dead Space? Maybe. I didn't play the remake, but I liked the first Dead Space, and Dead Space 2 was so I like the Dead Space franchise. It's a little jump scary, but it did it like I don't know. It's not as scary to me the way it was presented. Playing RDR2 right now. Oh yeah, I've played through RDR2. It's a great game. I don't know if I'll ever replay it because I feel like I did everything I wanted to do in it, but it was a long enough game to where I don't feel like I need to replay it to call it great. Clockwork Orange will forever hold up. That's the thing about Stanley Kubrick is that he somehow saw into the future. His movies are so future proofed because he was such a fucking stickler when it came to shooting things with the highest possible quality film and lenses that he could get his hand on. He was really avant-garde in that way, really ahead of the pack of other directors. Did not want his movies looking cheap and old. And it shows, dude. His movies are going to hold up forever because of his dedication to that. Do you like the Halo games? The first Halo blew my fucking balls out of their sack, dude, because it was just the first time that sort of thing had not appeared in a game yet. Where you could get in a game with your friend and jump in a fucking car and he could jump on the back on the machine gun and you guys could play together like that. You know, that type of like squad based multiplayer shooter shit was relatively new when Halo came out. And when I first saw it, I was just like, oh, the hubris of this man streaming against the superb owl, huh? The superb owl? What are you talking about? Why don't you come in here if it's really you, TJ? And if it's a faker, I shall ban thee. Get your narrow ass up in here, TJ. You know where I'm streaming. You can join the goddamn stream, bitch. Get your ass over. Superb owl. I get it. Get in here. You think I give a fuck about a Super Bowl? Fuck a Super Bowl, bitch. Wipe my ass on the Super Bowl. Take my dick out and piss all over the Super Bowl, okay? Big old Cincinnati steamer right on the Super Bowl. TJ won't join because he can't compete in the marketplace of ideas, dude. My guy. The marketplace of ideas, my dude. TJ, come and click on the thing so you join the stream and you talk to me. 8 6 foot 7 foot, tally me banana. Got to work during the Super Bowl. Trust me, you ain't missing shit, man. There hasn't been a good Super Bowl in fucking years, bro. These fucking like acts in the middle, like it's all just like nostalgia acts from the 90s now. Like last year's was only good because all the rappers that are good were on it, from back in the day. And like who is it even this year? Is it Taylor Swift this year or what? Who's like because that's one of the only things I even care about when it comes to the Super Bowl anymore is like, oh, hello, TJ. Hello, Tickle Me Jelmo. Is that a joking reference? Oh, okay. I think maybe TJ's setting up his rig.
Now I'm here.
Oh, okay. I just couldn't hear you.
It's not a jelking reference.
Okay, I thought it was. It made me think of jelking, but
I can see why.
Jelking lives rent free in my head since you explained it to me. I haven't jelked, but it lives rent free in my head.
Okay,
it's in there, dude. I like you know. I always think of that term. I think I just like the word.
Yeah.
Gel jerking, I guess is what it is. Gel jerking. I don't know. It's just a fun mashup. It's a fun portmanteau.
Jelking. It's supposed to make your dick bigger.
It's supposed to make your dick bigger.
It doesn't work, but you know.
Yeah. So you missed out, TJ. I mean, earlier on in the stream, I already like in my opinion, definitively covered
You did it?
The recent drama, yeah.
Wow.
And I don't think I gave people what I wanted. I think they wanted me to like pile on and go like wallow in Vaush's misery. You want to hear my take? I'll condense it for you.
All right, condensed version.
I think it's and this, hey, fucking point the finger at you too here. I think that if you are a streamer and you keep porn on your streaming PC, you're dumb as fuck. Like, I really don't think you should do it. But that being said, my take on it was, I wish that Vaush, because it looks like, I don't know how it's going to shake out, but he might get canceled. I mean, it's definitely probably going to hurt his career a little bit. It seems to be like spreading.
I mean, it's definitely something that limits his potential for growth.
Right. I mean, he was a dude that like just a couple of months ago, right, was slated to meet like with the senator's staff and talk in Washington, D.C. and shit, right? I don't think he's going to get that anymore now that this is like going to come up when his name is searched and shit. And like for me, I wish it wasn't just some like puritanical, look at me, look how pure I am shit that got him canceled. I wish it was the shit that I called him out for, you know? Like, he's a bad advocate.
Substantive shit.
Yeah, he's a bad advocate for leftism because he pipelines young people into liberalism and kind of like downplays activism and yada yada. Like, those are the things that I wish people would throw Vaush in the trash over. Not this like I'm holier than thou porn shit. And not defending, like I said, I haven't looked at the breakdown of what was in the leak and all that shit. So I'm not defending it or whatever, but by the same token, what somebody fucking jerks off to is like the bottom of my fucking concern list always. You know what I mean?
Someone was when I was doing Abandon Hope earlier, someone was asking, "Oh man, Paul's gonna have a field day with this." I'm like, I really don't think so, because I've never known Paul to take like a puritanical stance on.
Do you know what this reminds me of?
What?
Milo.
Yeah.
Like when Milo got canceled, we were one of the few mainstream places that didn't pile on to Milo. And we were one of the origins of him getting canceled, right?
Yes.
We had to step up and go like, you know what, dude, I wish it wasn't this. Like, I wish it was because Milo was a reprehensible fucking conservative piece of fascist shit. I wish it wasn't just, especially with him, because he was the victim of childhood trauma and shit. Like, to me, it deserved a little more fucking charitability than it got, and he certainly shouldn't have been canceled.
I think that very easily could have just been some bullshit that he said too.
I just hate it when like people who I consider to be like bad actors or people who are shitty in the politics sphere, that I hate it when it's something like this that hurts them. You know what I mean? Because I would rather it be a round rejection of the things that they profess to believe in that I think are, I'd rather it be the things that I pointed out. Like, I made fun of Vaush when he came on our show. I played the fucking horse and shit, but it was like a meme in the community. I knew, like, when I looked into his community, I saw the horse posting, and I'd heard about it, and I just thought it would be fun to rib him about it. Like, it wasn't, what my intent was not to like try and like kink shame the dude or whatever. Now I will say this, that was part of my take. Setting aside all of that, I think this shit is fucking hilarious. It is pretty fucking hilarious, dude. Horse porn, fucking degenerate anime porn, and AI generated on top of that from a dude that calls all AI shit slop, it just plays into the stereotype of the dude that's like, man, AI sucks. And then, you know, later that night, he's looking at AI generated porn and just fucking gooning as hard as he can.
Oh my God. Yes. AI generated bitches.
So that is hilarious to me. And
I don't really understand. Like, don't fucking, don't look a gift horse in the mouth. You know what I
mean? Yeah.
I mean, man. Like if the AI can generate for you porn of a big fucking horse dick that's like coming into a bucket, then like, you know, be grateful. Don't fucking shit talk the AI, you know?
Yeah. Wasn't there some really, really messed up stuff in there? No. Like, not from what I heard. There was like anime fucking porn of chicks that might have been fucking underage or whatever. There's some contention about that here and there. Dude, that's anime in general. Find me an anime that doesn't have a sexualized fucking 16-year-old. I'll wait. You know what I mean? It just is what it is. I don't like whatever. Is it sussy? Maybe to you. I don't care. Like when I think about human sexuality and the things that humans are into, I find it an interesting philosophical discussion. I find it an interesting psychological discussion. Looking at the etymology of these fetishes and stuff is really interesting to me. But when it comes to like fucking shaming a person for what, like ultimately Vaush is to blame for this because he was stupid. He has a porn folder on his streaming PC and he really has no excuse. The motherfucker is rich beyond belief. He could have a whole porn PC in a whole other wing of his fucking house.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean, like,
meanwhile,
he doesn't need to sit there. He doesn't need to sit there, you know, nutting all over his gamer chair.
Caves like we showed, you know.
Yeah, I mean, he could easily have that, or a million different devices that are not connected to his streaming that he could, you know, he's got a fucking iPad in the bathroom so he can goon in there, and then he's got, you know, whatever, the TV hooked up to the Roku so he can goon in there, and then he's got, you know what I mean? Like, he could do whatever he wants. And the fact that he's got like this hugely salacious folder filled with degenerate bullshit just sitting on his computer that he makes his living on is a little dumb to me, but you know, whatever.
Yeah, especially when, you know, he's made such a big deal about this shit in the past, you know?
Well, that's another thing that I kind of went over. It was just like, because I guess I haven't seen it, but I guess on H3, they not only went over the leaks, but then went over Vaush's history of saying kind of like incendiary and controversial things about pedophilia and bestiality and stuff like that. And like, my take on that is like, this is why I'm not a debate lord, because I feel like if you commit yourself to like, this is the content I make, anything's up for debate, then you end up in some weird convoluted back and forth where it's just like, well, isn't child porn kind of the same thing as child slavery? And isn't your phone made with cobalt or what? You know what I mean? Like, technically you might be right. You know what I mean? But it's just not an argument that I think merits a whole lot of discussion. And Vaush has got a fuck ton of sound bites out there on it. He's chosen to openly talk about this. I don't read the things that I've seen as him like advocating necessarily for child porn, like some people claim. But I definitely do think that he spent way too much time on a silly hypothetical. Like there are multiple ways of criticizing like the way that industry fucks up children and puts them through the ringer. Then going like, well, why child porn illegal? You know, like I get it. Like, so that's on him. You know what I mean?
Tax documents were in his porn folder. Well, it wasn't his porn folder. It was his to be sorted folder. And it just happened to be mostly filled with porn.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because Vaush is clearly like a hentai addict.
I mean, you have to be like a super gooner to fucking have that much fucking porn stored on your shit. That was just his sort folder, and it looked like
like there was folders within that were like taxes and XXX and this and that. So you know, so that was stuff that was going to later be like moved to the appropriate folders and stuff.
Right. I guess because his taxes shit is in the same fucking downloads as his porn, he's lucky he didn't like super dox himself or something, you know?
Yeah, like show his tax returns.
Yeah, his tax returns and his fucking social and all that shit. You don't want that out there as a controversial person. So
Vaush should just embrace it. I mean, I told Vaush, I even wrote to him after this, and I was just like, yeah, you should probably just like be aggressive and just be like, fuck you. But he really can't just be the like fuck you prudes guy, because he's been a prude so many times. So it's kind of like hard to fucking play that role now.
I know. It really is. And it's a tough, like, honestly, like stepping back from it. And, I have a disdain for Vaush's positions, but like I said, I wouldn't, if I had a button in front of me that was like delete Vaush from the internet, I would never push it. Like just because I disagree with the dude,
Right, because there's plenty of people I disagree with way more than I disagree with fucking.
I like
Vaush.
disagreeing with Vaush. That's the truth. Like I get mad and stuff, but I think it's fun. Like it's fun. He's a fun sparring partner or whatever, and a fun foil for my politics. And I respect that if I don't respect him much, and I just hate to see like this type of thing happen because of something that I find to be relatively, in the grand scheme of things, inconsequential in comparison to his political views, which I think are way more destructive and worthy of scorn and
but that's not as juicy.
No, I know. And it doesn't allow everybody that's participating in it to tell everybody what a shining beacon of morality that they are. There's just so much of this that goes on the internet, where somebody will get caught doing something objectionable, and then it's just like everybody lines up to just have a big old circle stroke about how good you are morally and how much you hate this shit, and what a degenerate fuck, need people to be lynched and shit. And I was like, man, I wish I
only jerk off to missionary sex.
Right. And it's just like, man, I bet if I could comb through your porn history, there'd be some real nuggets of wisdom in there. But it's just like oftentimes I feel like these people doth protest too much. You know what I mean? Like these people that, and in fact, it seems to shake out that way.
Hey, TJ, I made an improved spiteful onion over the original. I mean, but it wouldn't be the spite onion.
Yeah, it's no longer the spite onion. Then you don't understand. This
then
is
just like derivative of the spite onion.
Yes.
Like the whole point of the spite onion is it's being used out of pure spite. Like that's the beauty of it.
Yeah. And
of course, it's going to be mainstream soon. I hate to break it to you, but go on Amazon.com right now and type in horse dildo.
Yeah, this is not.
I mean, like, there's pages upon pages of horse dildos on Amazon.com.
This is
not
why,
like dark underground fetish.com, Amazon.com. So, like, it's mainstream now. Like, give it up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, but Vaush should get a goon cave because he can afford a goon cave.
I mean, he should have had a goon cave, and this should have never happened. It really is all on him, because what, you pointed out something I didn't even really touch on, like his moralizing and shit. It really limits his ability to like be like, fuck off, you fucking moral fag piece of shit, or whatever he wants. He can't really do that now. But I think it might be, I think you're right. I think it might be the only proper response, if such a thing exists, to this.
Yeah. I mean, it would be way more respectable, but whatever.
Sure. Well, I haven't watched any of his responses to this, so I don't really know how he's couching it. So
he just, it was like a pity party. There was no aggression to it. It was just kind of like, oh man, poor me.
That's not good. That's definitely not how you want to come at this, because like,
well, whatever. I mean,
nobody victimized you.
It seems like it worked in terms of like his audience and shit. Like, but like,
well, of course it did.
That's not the kind of thing that like reaches outside and makes other people go, yeah, hey, wait a minute. This is kind of a fucking puritanical bullshit.
I mean, if he told people that the sky was fucking neon purple, they would defend it. Well, actually, what he might mean is this, and actually, I do see some streaks of very bright purple in this sunset, like that would be him.
Sure.
So I know his audience is gonna fucking, close ranks and fucking batten down the hatches and shit. But I mean, like, H3 is an order of magnitude bigger than Vaush.
Oh yeah,
and super mainstream. And so now he's pipelined in the mainstream. He's pedo jacketed.
And the first thing that any normie knows is now that. So
right. And all these search results are being made every second now. You know what I mean? So now if somebody goes like, oh, who's this Vaush guy? They're gonna see Vaush, pedophile, horsecock. You know what I mean? He's fucked. It's gonna be years for him to dig himself out of this hole and regain like mainstream appeal. And it sucks because it's not over his political shit, which I think is worthy of it. It's another fucking pitchforks and torches mob that wants to tell everybody how fucking pure their life has been.
Do you think Vaush should go on the H3 and defend himself? I think not with the tactic that he's currently using.
If he goes on H3 with the tactic of I'm going to fucking unload, and I don't care how I look at the end of it, I'm going to unload on Ethan for being a hypocritical piece of fucking garbage. And really going to tell him like it's none of his fucking business. And I'm sitting here rubbing my hands together for the day that something gets leaked about you, because you can guarantee I'm going to fucking fly the flag now, you piece of, like, go hard or go home. Yeah, because if he's just going to go on there and go like, I don't know, my dude, I just feel, kind of like I can't win, rocking a hard place, my guy. If he's going to do that, I mean, it's just going to be a suffer session. It's going to be a struggle session, and Ethan is just going to milk his titties for all he's worth, and it's going to do more harm than good.
I would say yes if he can bring like some more aggression to the argument, but no if it's going to be what I saw on his little stream he did.
Yeah, I don't know. I do think he needs to confront it. Like in some way, he needs to do more than just like, oh, Zelda, what can I do? Because I don't like now that it's like leaked into the mainstream. Like the question is now, are some of the bigger content creators in the mainstream going to pick up on this? Like that moist critical guy, is he going to fucking cover this? He covers every other fucking internet drama and shit. So is he going to cover this? Is fucking like how much are his peers going to cover? Like our coverage of this, I can tell just talking to you, is probably going to be some of the best, like most defensive on it. And I'm not even really defending what he did, but just like, let's focus on substantive issues and not get caught up in another internet cancel session over this. Like, this is not the way, right? Like, that's going to be more charitable than most people give him, I think, in his community.
I mean, fuck yeah.
Yeah, it's just, this isn't going away. You know what I mean? He's not going to be able to like ignore this away. It's going to affect his channel's numbers, and it's really going to taint his perception. I mean, I was looking at his Reddit today just to see what their reaction is, and there's a lot of people over there that sound pretty fucking disheartened. They're just like, like, I don't know what to do because Vaush won't defend himself on this really, and so when I do it, it makes it like I just immediately get labeled a lolicon supporter or whatever the fuck, and a horse cock sucker, and like Vaush, I really can't point to any cogent defense that he's made, and I feel like I'm just losing every argument I get in, because he does need to address some of this shit. Like, he does need to kind of account for why he's out of one side of his mouth been super fucking prudish on the subject, and then when his porn folder pops up, a bunch of that shit is in his porn folder. You know what I mean? Like, it really makes him look like kind of like a fucking like the type of person I'm talking about, the doth protest too much types.
Yeah.
Oftentimes you look at the moralizers, and they're the ones that are, cultivating.
Well, if there's anything that Vaush has on his side with this kind of thing, it's that, people will be moving on to the next debacle in a fucking week or two. So,
I don't know.
It'll follow him around for a while, but I mean, like,
They're definitely, people will get bored with it, but I think if some of these big creators cover it staggered like they like to do, they don't want to compete with each other. So few days from now, Moist Critical might bring it up, and the next week it might be another big streamer that fucking bounces off of that. And holy shit, did you see this guy? And people are pointing out a lot of the hypocrisy too. Like, the AI art shit becomes really fucking lame when you see his fucking goon folder filled with AI shit.
As far as I could tell, there was only one AI image in there, but still.
Well, that was in his sorted folder.
Right. So I mean, like, who knows how much more there was.
Who knows what kind of fucking extensive collection of generated AI porn this dude has. And this is a dude that devotes whole streams to calling AI art slop for hogs. You know what I mean? Literal.
Right.
And he's got a fucking big old
good enough
collection.
for the old spank bank, though.
Yeah, yeah. It's good enough to jerk off to and admire in that way, but
yeah, don't look a gift horse in the mouth, man.
So he's painted himself into a pretty fucking tight corner here, and I don't really know what I like. If I was like, I don't know, if you were like, if Vaush was like, manage me, TJ, like, what would you tell him to do right now? Because you've been like, not necessarily this, but the banana incident and shit,
right?
So you've been through these like waves of people finding out about your sexual peccadillos and having to fucking deal with the hate and the bullshit.
I've just been open about a bunch of shit too, because like, whatever.
Well, sure,
I don't really
that does deflect a lot of it.
I've never fucking I mean, there's not a puritanical bone in my body, and I've never pretended there was.
Same.
I think that, you know, if I was advising Vaush on how to deal with this, I would say be fucking insanely aggressive. I would say disavow your previous puritanical positions. Admit that you're a fucking gooner. Admit that you fucking are like a degenerate hentai loving son of a bitch, and then point out that fucking millions of other people are too. Like,
right. And
point
then
out how prevalent,
pivot to the substance of it.
There's
a
subreddit called Hentai Beast that's entirely devoted to depictions of like bestiality in art. No real shit, but all art. And it has 522,000 fucking members. There's 150,000 plus images with the horse tag on rule34.xxx.
Right. I was going to mention that as well.
There's horse cocks being sold on Amazon. There's horse cocks being sold on, I mean, there's horse cocks in
all kinds of animal
porn,
cocks.
Like depictions of horse cock right there on Pornhub and mainstream porn sites. Like acting like this shit is
Dude,
do you remember like, oh my God, it's so out there.
Do you remember
so
that
by this? I'm so scandalized by this. It's totally fraudulent. And if I was in the fucking predicament, I'd be like, you guys are full of shit.
Do you remember that scene in Freddy Got Fingered?
The doorbell's ringing.
Oh, go ahead. I was gonna ask TJ if there's legitimately a scene in the movie Freddy Got Fingered with Tom Green where he jerks off a horse. Like, you know what I mean? Like this type of I don't know. Is it my personal taste? No. Do I find it sexually exciting? No. Do I care if somebody else does? No. I was going to ask you, TJ, do you remember that scene in that fucking Freddy Got Fingered movie where Tom Green jerks off a horse, literally?
Yes. Yeah, he actually, and like a real horse too.
Yeah, no, he fucking literally jerks off a horse, and that's the point.
Right.
That's the joke.
Yeah.
And it's just like, man,
there was a bar in New York City that was selling like alcoholic cocktails that were fucking like the base was horse cum. Like, you know, I mean, like, can we stop acting like we're a fucking? I mean, I just hate that.
You know what? That little factoid just. I'm a Puritan now. You know what? Fucking flail the horse.
I'm just saying, like, that goes way further than having a fucking drawing.
No, it does.
And that's like being done out in the open in a fucking establishment, and they're profiting off of it, and you know everyone knows what's going on in there. So,
horse cum is being drunk in there.
Yes. People are drinking horse cum. Apparently, it's very popular among the women that attend that place. So I don't know.
They like the fucking testosterone boost or
maybe.
Whatever.
I don't know. Anyway, I got a pizza, so I'm gonna go. But
all right, yeah, get out of here. Get out of here, fucker. No, thanks for joining. It was fun.
All right.
Have a good pizza.
Well, I'd say you too, but I guess you don't have one.
I don't get any pizza. No.
What do you have?
I don't know. I don't know, man. I'm gonna have to forage for some fish and berries tonight, I think.
Fuck. All right. See you around.
Yep. Have a good one. Oh, there you go. There's your TJ. There's your TJ dose. Seems like we're pretty much on the same page as far as I can tell. But whatever. I'm going to become a Puritan with this beast talk. I feel icky. Aw. It's okay, buddy. It's also a stag semen beer. Yeah. Well, I knew TJ was getting pizza. Oh, did you though? You just felt it in your bones. And TJ was going to get a pizza. Get her done. TJ smells better than Vaush. How do you know that? You met them both? You got a whiff? Didn't Hitler famously like horses? I think I've heard it, but I don't know. Hitler was a weird guy. As it turns out, he was a strange chap. No, Paul, I do not have a story about how I introduced Get Her Done to Larry the Cable Guy, okay? I'm way too young for that. That would not even make sense, dude. I did meet Foxworthy once, though. That was kind of fun. That was an interesting thing. We went to it's like a community event in Santa Barbara, California. It was like a wine makers event, but it was like a big family thing. And yeah, Foxworthy was there. He did a set there. This was early in his career, so he wasn't like super famous yet, you know. And after that, he just kind of came down to the audience and went and got a beer and shit. People were coming up talking to him. So, you know, I liked stand-up comedians. I was big into Bill Cosby and Bill Hicks, Carlin and stuff. And so I really wanted to go talk to him and tell him like, hey, I liked your comedy. And I walked up and he was having another conversation with a dude. And the guy was saying like, you know, I need to know how to spot a redneck. And Jeff Foxworthy said, yeah, man, I don't know how you go about. Somebody does need to get it down to pat, you know, find out how to spot a redneck. And I said, you know, I just piped up and I was like, well, you know, I was just a little kid. I said something stupid. I was like, you might be a redneck if you've got less teeth than you do IQ points or some shit, you know? And Jeff was like, oh, that's pretty good, little man. I might use that. And then, you know, it was cool, you know? And he got a corn dog and I bought my own corn dog, you know? But, you know, just a fun little run in with the guy. Oh, I don't believe you. Don't lie to me. You never met Kurt Cobain. You're a liar. You're a liar. And you won't go any higher. Everybody says they met Kurt Cobain. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Billy Mays here. Cool. I believe that. Billy Mays seems approachable. I met Adam West. Oh, yeah, Batman. That's cool. I believe you. It seems plausible. Never met Adam West myself. You touched Billy Mays? Consensually, I hope. You got his enthusiastic consent before you touched him, right? Shook hands with you at a Comic-Con. See, that's plausible. That's believable. That's cool. Then died. Well, at least you got that handshake, though. Met Kurt in a bathhouse once. Mm-hmm. You and everybody else. wasn't a social call. I was working. He asked for directions inside of the Mandalay Bay. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, sure. Jake the Snake, yeah. I've met a couple of different wrestlers. I got to shake hands with, or like slap hands with Rowdy Roddy Piper one time. My grandpa got us seats that were right on the like entrance area up front. And I got to hang my hand out and slap hands with Rowdy Roddy Piper one time. And a bunch of other dudes. Ricky the Dragon Steamboat was there. He didn't slap my hand because he was a big, nasty ogre, but he was my favorite. My favorite wrestler back then was George the Animal Steel. And he wasn't the type to like give high fives and stuff when he came up in the ring. He would ignore you and maybe even like snap at you. Hacksaw Jim, yeah. He was cool. Oh, they just like kind of a big retarded redneck guy. Yeah, it was good. You're gonna practice the bongos. Whoa, trippy, man. Trippy, bro. George the Animal Steel. You don't think you've ever met a celebrity? Not once. You haven't had one like bump in? Oh, I guess it's way more like common for people in California, obviously. Hollywood being here and me spending so much time in LA is where I've met most of the celebrities that I've, had run-ins with. You go to the places that they hang out and shit, you're gonna meet celebrities. It's just the way it is. Do you consider yourself a celebrity? No. I don't. I can go out in public and shit, and most times I don't get recognized by anybody. So I would say that if I could not go out without somebody approaching me or multiple somebody's approaching me and wanting to talk or get autographs, or then I'd say I was a celebrity. I think that's the sign, right? And that's definitely not the case for me. So. A Z-list internet micro celebrity. Yeah. There you go. That seems to work. That's about right. When was the last time you were recognized? It was last year. I was traveling and I was in Arizona and I went to an Olive Garden and I ate. And as I was leaving, a dude was like, Paul? And I was like, huh? And I turned around and he looked like he was a guy that worked in the kitchen, I think. And he's like, dude, I thought it was you, man. He was like, I'm a big fan. I've been watching you since, the old early like stick ham and beer streams and stuff, man. I fucking love your stuff. I was like, oh, cool. Nice to meet you, man. Shook his hand. Maybe I should have like offered him a picture, but like I didn't want to get him in trouble. Like I didn't want his boss to like write him up or whatever. So I didn't want to waste his time. But I said thank you, and I shook his hand and everything. It was cool. But that's pretty rare, honestly, with me. I mean, it does happen, but I've met Smoke Dabs with and sang Solidarity Forever with Vermin fucking Supreme. Oh, yeah, that's cool. I'd love to meet you guys like that. Just come to a meetup. That's what the meetups are for. Like the meetups, we do a little show and everything, but like really, if you're coming to it, it's like we chill. We chill for hours after the show. Hang out, get drunk, talk shit, take pictures, sign shit for you if you want. Just give you a big sweaty hug if that's what you're into. Yeah, me and TJ did get noticed by somebody when we went to see Black Panther, yes. there was a dude there that knew. I think they probably knew TJ, honestly, and maybe just recognized me because of TJ. That's the thing, is like, I'm a little weird looking, but I go under the radar a lot with people, I think. TJ's, like, being as tall as he is, I think he's easier to spot for people. Because he already just, like, draws the eye for that. I mean, we'll do another one of these meetups. That was fun, and ended up turning a small profit on it, which is an important thing. Like, you don't want to, we can't like infinitely take vacations and shit. If we're paying a bunch of money to do them, it's fun, but we can't really do them all that often. But this one, you know, did a little better than breaking even, and that's nice. And so I see no reason why we won't do ones in the future. The problem for me, honestly, is that I really don't want to fly now more than ever. It's not even really a phobia. It's that I do not trust. Like, if you read about these airlines, like, everybody that works for them is stressed to the max. People are pulling double shifts and shit, being asked to work like super overtime. There's a huge crunch. It's like almost every day you hear a story about some crazy shit happening on a plane now. Didn't used to be that way. Like, a door flew off, some dude's head exploded. No joke. Not exploded, but like he just gushed like liters of blood all over. It's like some artery inside of him burst. That happened. There was just a couple of days ago, I read a story about another collision on the runway where like these two taxiing planes crashed into each other and had to fucking cancel both flights. It's just like, I don't want to do it. It's such an unpleasant thing. And then on top of it, I feel like it's getting more and more unsafe. So I really, you know, like, that's the hard thing for me. But I don't know. If I end up being more mobile, then I can just plan my year around it. You know, we decide when we're going to do the next meetup and where, and then I can just make sure that me and the camper and everything are within proximity by that time. I don't like the driving comparison. There's a lot of things that are horribly dangerous that are more safe than driving or whatever, you know, like, I don't like the driving compare. I think that's dismissive, especially now as the number of these mechanical fail. I mean, like, there's footage that's from like late last year of a woman on a plane where like the fucking covering on the engine ripped off and the engine flamed out. There's more and more crazy people too. Like, COVID really fucking drove a lot of people crazy. So the chances that you get on one of these planes and you're on a 6-hour fucking flight and one of these crazies is on it that just screams the whole time, has to be restrained and shit. Like, the chances of that are just more and more and more and more and more. You know, these mechanical fucking oversights, these weird runway accidents. I just feel like the whole industry is asleep at the wheel. And like, we're seeing now the rot of the capitalistic kind of deregulation that these companies buy for themselves through political influence, you know? They get fucking, you know, they get the most leeway and they get to decide how many chairs to put in, and the regulatory agencies are hands off. And I feel like we're seeing the end result of that. A lot of these fleets are crumbling. They're still flying jets that were built in the 70s and the 80s. It's really common to get on a fucking mid-range flight and be in a plane that was built in like 1982 when I was 2 years old. You know, and people just go like, safer than driving. Well, I think individual flights need to be fucking examined for that, honestly. What's the deal with airlines? They've just been squeezing it. They've been cutting staff and lowering expectations for staff to save money. They've been raising fares. They're just squeezing the consumer, adding in rows of chairs and shit, making it more of a fucking tight, uncomfortable squeeze in these planes. And People bitch about it, but they keep flying because they got no other choice. They just have a monopoly on an entire market, and there's nobody at the regulatory wheel making sure that they're providing a fair and equitable service. And so they don't. They cram you in like garbage into a garbage compactor, fly you on a bumpy ass ancient plane that needs a maintenance fucking checkup 6 months ago. You know, they fuck you over when you sign up. You know, you get a fucking flight and then you show up and your flight's canceled for some bullshit reason. Or it's delayed for 6 hours. Or you get bumped to some other flight because they oversold your flight. I mean, this type of shit is just pretty fucking common, guys. Or you get the fucking TSA agent with a hair up his ass who really wants to fucking work over a hippie, because I've gotten that before. I got that coming back from California. No, actually, I got that coming into California from Louisiana, if you can believe it. One of the times I flew back, I got fucking selected to step outside or step aside for the full pat down and interview. And I was like, you're going to be fucking kidding me, bro. So I got my balls juggled and I got my penis pinched and I got my, you know what I mean? Like the whole nine. They had to check every goddamn fucking thing. So you got that hanging over you. It's just like, where does the misery end, bro? I would rather get in a car and drive. No joke. Like, I know you can say it's fucking more dangerous. It's not just the danger, it's the hideous inconvenience and horrible conditions of it all. And the degrading, like, fucking bullshit. They should have paid for dinner first. I made that joke. And they both giggled. There was a dude and a chick, and the chick was patting me down, and I said, well, you said something like that. I was like, usually I get dinner first, you know? She was like, oh, sir. I was like, you're squeezing my balls. Can you not giggle at me? Where were you hiding in your butthole? Dude, I had a fucking half-pound of Coke up there, dude. I was so happy when they let me go. I was like, phew, dodged another one. Another fucking delivery for the cartel goes off without a hitch. I mean, wait, did I say that out loud? Is this live? No, I'll have to edit that out. I accidentally revealed too much. Well, that's my ticket. That's how I smuggle shit. I dress like I normally do, and I come in reeking of weed. And my partner, who's got all the cocaine on him, who I'm running interference for, always ends up right behind me, but we pretend we don't know each other, obviously. He ends up right behind me, but he's dressed real slick, clean cut, business-like, nice watch, business casual, loosened up tie a little bit, looks like a weary business traveler. And they always pass his ass right fucking through because their eyeballs are locked on the hippie, you know what I mean? And it just, every time, dude, it never fails. I had a whole slap of gabagool in my ass. Could you even put gabagool up your ass? I don't know. I guess you probably could. You're a narc. I'm going to jail. Oh, no. It's funny to think that, though. I wonder if I bet that has happened, honestly. Like, no joke. I bet that's a tactic that's used. It's like have somebody come in that's totally clean, but dressed like a hippie or like a Rasta or something like that, that looks like they'd be carrying something they shouldn't. And then have the next guy right behind him, business suit, white, middle-aged, nondescript, briefcase, tie, shirt sleeves rolled up, weary business traveler. I bet it works, dude. You know what happens to snitches? Of course I do. Snitches get bitches. Isn't that what they say? That's what I've always heard. Snitches get bitches, dude. The ladies love a snitch. Did you see those big ass booties that were shaking for fucking Tekashi 6ix9ine when he got released for prison finally? Dude, the day he got out of prison, he had like $7 million worth of Richard Milles on his wrist. And he had three the biggest, fattest, cellulite fucking asses just bouncing. They love a snitch, dude. Snitches get bitches. Oh, so brave of you, Boo, to stand up there and speak truth to power. Most of these other cowards would have listened to their boys when their boys said snitches get stitches, but you didn't care. You risked it. Oh, I like that. Paul, why does it all hurt so bad? That's life. That's life. That's what all the people say. Yeah, snitches get less stitches because they're not beaten to death in jail, you know? Honestly. That's typically how it works out in the real world, though. You know? Stitches are reserved for the people that didn't snitch, you know? They're the ones that get their asses beat to death in fucking prison. The dude that skipped prison by telling, he goes into witness protection or some shit. He just disappears. He lives a good ass life. Never crosses Johnny Law ever again. Cleans it up, starts a little family, and forgets about all that shit. That's usually what happens. Yeah, you know, when I say snitches, I mean like people that are doing inconsequential dirt. Like if if you've ever like snitched on a neighbor for having weed or drinking or like I'm not a big like party like call the cops on a party kind of guy. I'm not gonna do it. You know what I mean? There are lines, and I feel like involving a cop, it honestly like endangers people more than it helps in those types of situations. So yeah, like that's totally unwarranted snitching. But dude, if you drop a body in front of me, I don't care if you're my mom, I'm telling. Like, damn, mom, I'm sorry, but I'm gonna have to testify for the state. You just dropped a body. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna pretend like I'm fucking holding that secret for your ass. Nah. Well, I gotta be honest. I might lie for my mom, but nobody else gets a body but my mom. Maybe Dinor. And Amelia and Cricket, but that's it. Short list. All right, depending on the fucking context, I might lie for TJ or Scotty as well, but that's it. Period. I mean, I'm not a violent guy, and I, do not advocate violence, and I abhor violence. Honestly, I'm a very peaceful guy, but sometimes a body has to be dropped. You know what I mean? Like look, sometimes complex solutions to complex problems, right? Every once in a while, a body needs to drop, and it's always been that way. It always kind of will be that way, you know. What about you, naughty priest? Okay, yes, I would lie for you too, naughty priest. If you caught a body, I would lie for you. As long as it was like an understandable, rational body. If you just like showed up to me and you're like, "Hi, Paul, I'm Mr. Naughty Priest. I've got blood up to my elbows, and there's my trunk is full of dead toddlers," I'm gonna snitch. I'm snitching. Okay. But if it's just like, oh, there's some asshole in the bar goosed my wife's ass and I hauled off and hit him too bad and killed a dude, you know, be like, okay, all right. I mean, that's like fucking understand. He deserved it. Piece of shit. Fuck him. A little of the old ultra violence. Welcome to the United Snakes, land of the thief, home of the slave, the grand imperial guard where power is sacred and money is God. Dude, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to risk it for a biscuit. We're going to listen to at least a little bit of a song because now it's in my... And this is the type of thing that I think people would like look at and go like, cringy, performative leftism. But this is where my dude, this song... This song is real. Excuse me. Yeah. This is from 16 years ago. And if you listen to we'll stop and we'll go over the lyrics as we go, because I really think that this type of like mentality needs to become prevalent on the left again. Like this type of worldview and this type of view on America and its role in that world needs to fucking come barreling back. Uncle Sam, goddamn, by Brother Ali.
The name of this song is Uncle Sam, damn. It's a show tune, but the show ain't been written for it yet. We're gonna see if Tony Jerome and the band can maybe work it out for
this song is fucking dope.
I like it so far, man. Yeah. Come on, let's go. Welcome to the United Snakes, land of the thief, home of the slave. Grand Imperial Guard, where the dollar is sacred and proud. Let's do the drill, come on now. Smoke and mirrors, stripes and stars, stoning for the cross in the name of God. Bloodshed, genocide, rape and fraud, written to the pages of the law, good law. The cold continent latchkey child ran away one day and started acting foul. King of where...
Dude, I love this shit. The cold continent latchkey child ran away one day and started acting foul. Yeah. All the genocide, rape, and fraud written in the pages of the law. Good Lord.
Better wild things are, daddy's proud, cause the Roman Empire done passed it down. Imported and tortured the workforce and never healed the wounds or shook the curse off. Now the grown-up Goliath nation holding open auditions for the part of David. Can you feel? Nothing can save you. You question the rain, you get rushed in and chained up. Fist raised, but I must be insane, cause I can't figure single damn way to change.
I mean, sounds like a red man. He maybe a little, I don't know. I mean, he has a very distinctive style. White guy as well. Actually, a blind albino white guy named Brother Ali. A devout Muslim. Clinically blind. Albino white guy. I mean, this song just goes from great to amazing. Like every verse of this song is better than the one that preceded it. It's one of those songs that just builds and builds and builds. He is not black. You can look him up. Look up Brother Ali, Uncle Sam, goddamn.
Welcome to the United Snakes, land of the thief, home of the slave. The Grand Imperial Guard, where the dollar is sacred and power is God. Welcome to the United Snakes, land of the thief, home of the slave. The grand imperial guard, where the dollar is sacred and power is God. All must bow to the fat and lazy. The obey me, and why do they hate me? Who, me? Only 2 generations away from the world's most despicable slavery trade. Pioneered so many ways to degrade a human being that it can't be changed to this day. Legacy so ingrained in the way that we think we no longer need chains to be slaves. Lord, it's a shameful display. The overseers even got raped along the way. Cause the children can't escape from the pain, and they born with the poisonous hatred in their veins. Try and separate a man from his soul. You only strengthen him and lose your own. But shoot that if he walk near the throne. Remind him that this is my home. Now I'm gone.
I mean, this is the type of like energy that my political advocacy has. I hate people making excuses for this place that we live in, because the amount of human degradation that this place caused, not only in the world, but within itself, to purchase the moments of comfort that I've had in my life is sickening. In my mind, and you can call us a purity test if you want, in my mind, any leftist should have, at the very least, as a long-term goal, tearing down this fucking system or flushing it out with some kind of astringent that's going to fucking degunk it and make it, streamline it for the people again, because what America has done is shameful. And I said many years ago that I was ashamed to be an American, and I still say that to this day. I think that America is consistently dumb and consistently wrong-headed and consistently drags its feet to join, to come out of barbarism and join the rest of the world in empathy. And don't hit me with this, oh, there are worse places than America. You don't know how privileged you are. I do know how privileged I am. That's why this is so disgusting. It's because that privilege was bought with the blood of the third world, with the blood of an entire race of people, multiple races of people, honestly. Because, black slavery gets a whole lot of fucking, as well it should, chattel slavery, but the way that America treated pretty much every immigrant population was no better than slavery. When it comes down to it, like the Chinese that were fucking press ganged into making the railroads that crossed this country. Like, you really think there was a whole lot of material difference between their life and a slave's life? There wasn't. And the same can be said for prisoners now, There are prisoners that do fucking hard labor, don't get paid for 14 cents an hour for it or whatever, so they can get around the slavery accusation. They sit in a hot ass fucking workshop all day making license plates or other things. And, they're there because they had a pound of weed on them when they were 20, and now they're 45 years old. And they're like, this is so common. You have no idea. And that's not even going into how we treat people in other countries. We steamroll them, we rape them, we steal their natural resources, we upend their governments and replace them with horrible, horrible exploitative puppets. We do this over and over. I mean, this country is up to its fucking chin in blood, let alone elbows. And I'm not making, I hate making excuses for that. That needs to change, and it needs to change immediately, as fast as we can. And as a leftist, that's where my energy is at. It's aimed right at the perpetrators of this. It's aimed right at the people that perpetuate this. As it should be, in my opinion. I don't know. Maybe I'm fucking crazy.
Welcome to the United States, land of the thief, home of the slave. Grand imperial guard, where the dollar is sacred and power is God. Welcome to the United States, land of the thief, home of the slave. The grand imperial guard, where the dollar is sacred. Hold on, give me one right here. Hold on. You don't give money to the bums on the corner with a sign bleeding from their gums. Talking about you don't support a crackhead. What you think happens to the money from your taxes? The government's the addict. With $1 billion a week, kill brown people habit. And even if you ain't on the front line, when Master yell crunch time, you right back at it. Man, look at how you hustling backwards. At the end of the year, add up what they subtracted. 3 out of 12 months, your salary pay for that madness. Man, that's savage. What's left? Get a big ass plasma to see where they made Dan rather point the damn camera. Only approved questions get answered. Now stand your ass up for that national anthem.
I mean, is there anything else that needs said? I mean, fuck yeah, right? I love the beginning of that. You don't give no money to the bums standing on the street corner bleeding from their gums. What are you talking about? You don't support a crackhead. What do you think happens from the money with, to the money from your taxes? The government's an addict with $1 billion a week kill brown people habit. And even if you ain't on the front line, when Massa yells crunch time, you right back at it. I mean, come on, dude. What a fucking great song. And what a totally true statement as well. This is why I don't make apologetics. This is why America bad, yes. Unironically, America bad. I think this was played on the Friday movie. Maybe. I don't remember. It's from 16 years ago. It's an older song. Faux show. But rings ever more true today, doesn't it? Doesn't sound like it necessarily was written 16 years ago. It sounds like it was written today. So, yeah. I don't know. That's the sentiment that I think is needed. Like, we have got to rise up at some point as a people and say enough is a fucking enough, dude. What this country is doing and what this paradigm, ultimately capitalism, is doing is just leeching the planet of all life and creativity and love and warmth, and it's replacing it with just a dead fucking oversalinated ocean. And it's not a fair trade for us, But it's got to be goddamn close to everybody to really make it happen, guys, honestly. And I know this is like a pipe dream, but I believe it can happen. And I hope it doesn't have to get fucking untenable. I hope, but it could happen. A mass movement of people sitting in at various fucking places that are high profile. National Mall, Wall Street, shutting it down, forcing, this type of force to be used on them. Peaceful, nonviolence, civil disobedience, sitting in, forcing the cops to deal with 1 million people until you're, and all the cameras of everybody in the world are on you while it's happening. It forces them to come to the table, but it has to be massive, and it has to be massively popularly supported. And it has to continue. They're not going to fold right away. There have to be weeks of, it's week 3 of, the sit-in protests in the National Mall. No sign of the protesters wavering or breaking. In fact, new waves arrive every day. That's what it needs to be. And let me tell you something. They will listen. You can be as cynical and as jaded as you want. But when they're faced with a more or less unified populace saying, hey, the way that the pie is divided right now is not working for the rest of us, so you're going to have to figure that out, they're going to fold. They will have no choice. So what's the choice? Kill all those people? Disappear all those people into prisons and shit? You can't do it. You're talking about 1 million people. Talking about multiple millions of people nationwide doing this simultaneously. You can't do it. There'll be movement. There will be capitulation. At the very least, we'll get something like single payer, Medicare for all, a $20 federal minimum wage, which I think would only just start to address it in a lot of places. new legislation keeping these fucking giant conglomerate corporations from buying up fucking houses built for people to live in and using them like a commodity, like it's a barrel of pork bellies or something. Limitations on how, and massive tax spikes, speculation fees on these companies that buy up whole neighborhoods and then just sit on them like don't care if people live in them. That's fucked. Any one of these things, it needs to be more than just a workers. I mean, it needs to be workers. It needs to be leftists of all stripes. It just needs to be Americans. Americans need to show up and say, enough is enough. This is it. You know what I mean? You've pushed us this far and we ain't going no further. It needs to be in sufficient numbers that they just honestly cannot deal with it in any way other than to come to the table. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and end the old streamer Rooney now. It was nice to talk to you guys. I guess I'll see you a little later this week, right? Upcoming. Yeah. Day after tomorrow. Onion nuggets. I'll see you then. Have a good one. Bye.